for Lillehammer, folkens! Ja, dette stas, dette gøy. Dette litt nyttårsaften, julaften og 17. mai på en gang. Hjertelig velkommen alle sammen, alle fremmøtte her i Håkonshall, og alle dere som hjemme og ser på TV. Dette her blir litt av et show, altså. Welcome to STIHL Timbersports World Championship 2017! More than 120 athletes from 23 countries in the team event yesterday and today's single competition have come to beautiful Lillehammer. They all are here for one dream, that is to be the world's new champion. Ok, mer enn 120 deltagere fra 23 land var med å kjempe i teamkonkurransen i går. I dag har vi 12 veldig spente utøvere, og deriblant har vi en nordmann. Vi har med oss Vebjørn. Veldig hyggelig å være her sammen med dere. Jeg ikke alene. I'm not alone. I have a couple of guys over here, the commentators. Please welcome Troy and Sterling from Canada.
Hi everybody, welcome to this beautiful hall here in Lillehammer, Norway for the STIHL Timbersports World Championship tonight. We are going to crown an individual world champion in timber sports. I'm Troy Mannering, joined by Sterling Hart. Happy to have him by my side this evening for expert analysis. And I mean, we can't be happier to be here. What an amazing area. Lillehammer is beautiful, and we've seen a little bit of it. Let's take a quick look at some of the amazing scenery of this area here.
Jeg glemte å nevne at Sterling Hart, han har altså verdensrekorden på Springboard. Han brukte så vidt over 35 sekunder, så dere skjønner at vi har den beste ekspertkommentatoren vi kan ha. Awesome, awesome. Ok, dette her, kjære venner, et stort arrangement. Jeg tror da jeg kom hit for noen dager siden, jeg tror jeg talte 17-18 trailere med utstyr for å få dette verdensmesterskapet på plass. Veldig mange mennesker har jobbet døgnet rundt for å gjøre dette til denne minneverdige opplevelsen vi ønsker at det skal bli for alle sammen, alle oss, alle som ser på hjemme, og ikke minst utøverne. Many people have worked day and night for this STIHL Timbersport World Championships. And to give you guys an idea of what it takes to make a venue like this, we have made a little video clip. Check this out. Ja, som dere skjønner, det veldig mye som skal på plass, og for at dette skal foregå rettferdig, så må vi også ha dommere med. Welcome on stage, Judge Andy Hall.
Hi Lars, thank you.
You are one, yeah, you got your own fan base there.
Yeah, it's excellent.
You are one of several judges to be sure that everything is going right. Please explain to us, first of all, what's going to happen on this stage.
Okay, so this evening we have all 6 timber sports disciplines over 3 rounds, 12 competitors, and we're going to kick off with the underhand chop.
Okay, and all the events will be on this stage.
Yes, that's correct. We'll have the chopping disciplines out on the front and the middle of the deck, the sawing disciplines at the back, and we'll finish up with the hot saw right at the front here.
Det kulminerer altså med motorsager på 70-80 hestekrefter helt foran her. Og første event, første disiplin altså underhand chop. It's like, okay, I know what it is. Okay, Andy, let's go over to this area. And please explain to us what we will witness over here. Because what do you call this area?
Okay, here we have the decision zone. So hopefully we'll be announcing both cuts are good. However, if we have a judgment call to make, if we think there's been a rule infraction, we will make a video call. And then we'll proceed into the competition control center to review the high-speed video.
Okay, altså når utøverne ferdige bort på hovedscenen, så tar dommeren dem med hit, og så står han i midten, her hvor jeg står, og så det en utøver på hver side, og så det forhåpentligvis tommelen opp for begge utøvere. Men hvis det noe som kan være gjort ureglementert, da må vi inn i bua. Let's go into the guys. Because in here we have a whole lot of video screens. And Andy, what's going on in here?
Okay, so here we have our video judge, Jörg Timberger, and he's monitoring the high-speed video system we have, which records at 100 frames per second.
Wow, you have to stay alert today, Jörg.
Yes, you're absolutely right, but we are really prepared, so yeah, we're happy to be here and yeah, to have a good show.
Yeah, we had some incidences yesterday, so you know that sometimes you have to be very careful and watch closely.
Absolutely right, but that's why we're here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else, Andy?
I think that's pretty much it, but we're all ready, and it's going to be full bore.
Okay, excellent. We have a mate. Jeg har laget en liten videosnutt for at dere lettere skal forstå hvordan dette videokontrollsenter fungerer. Det super high-tech. So please check out this clip so you easier can understand what this video control center actually does. Se på dette.
On the wood. Get set.
The advantage of the video timing system is that this year we have 5 high-speed cameras, each records at 100 frames per second, so we can see all the details of each discipline. Okay, we're going to make a video check because we believe it could have been a false start. Can we check the start on stand A, please?
Okay.
That's a false start, disqualification. Common mistakes right from the beginning is a jump gun or a false start. This could be where the competitor strikes the block before the go signal, or he moves his hands before the line on one of the soaring disciplines. Okay, unfortunately we have a disqualification for a false start. The way the system works is if we think we've got a call that we want to check on the system, we'll come forward to the decision zone, we'll make the video symbol, and then the guys in the video control center know that we want to check something. So we would have radioed ahead of time as well with the second judge on deck, and then they will replay for us the particular incident that we want to look at. It can avoid those discrepancies where people think they've been unfairly wronged.
Ja, dere har jo allerede hilst på den ene dommeren, men la oss møte hele dommerpanelet. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the judges. Fra USA, Rich Hallett. From Great Britain, Andy Hall. From Germany, Jörg Kutzenberger. And from Romania, Radu Katsako. And also welcome the Global Sports Director for STIHL TIMBERSPORT, Mr. Spike Milton from Great Britain. Ok, vi har dommerne på plass. Jeg lurer på, folkens, tror dere vi klarer det mens vi introduserer gutta? Jeg har veldig lyst til å prøve om vi klarer å få det. Klarer vi å lage en bølge fra venstre mot høyre? Kan vi prøve, folkens? Hvis jeg begynner å telle til 3, så begynner vi der, og så drar vi den gjennom, så får vi dette så fint på TV. Er dere klare? Ok, da kjører vi 1, 2, 3, lag bølge nå! Kom igjen, kom igjen, kom igjen, kom igjen, kom igjen, kom igjen! Og dere på gulvet må være med også! Over hele der, det er nydelig! Ok, vi drar den dit. Kan vi ta den tilbake igjen? Kan vi begynne der, opp igjen, og så tar vi den veien? Kom igjen! Ja, litt mindre bølge, men den var ikke så gæren, den! Ja, dere er herlige. Da kan vi glede oss. Nå skal vi møte våre 12 utøvere, og nå er det viktig at dere gir dem den støtten de trenger. Er vi klare? Ok, vi starter fra Australia, en av verdens beste tømmerhoggere, Mr. Brad DeLose. Four-time Austrian champion in a row. Great performances. And now from Canada, Mitch Hewitt. 5 times Canadian champion and previous world springboard record holder. And from the Czech Republic, 5-time bronze, 3 times silver medal. Here he is, Mr. Martin Kumarek.
We will rock you.
Good to hear. You have your own fan base here, Martin. And vive la France! French champion 2014 and 15, and this year, Pierre Bubaré. Okay, and now to Germany, 5-time German champion, 3rd place in 2009 in the World Championship, 2nd place in 2010. Please welcome Robert Ebner. Ja, la flaggene vaie, folkens, dere på TV. And now, 2nd place in the Great Britain Championship 3 years ago. He's champion 2015, 16, and this year. Please welcome Elgin Pugh, Great Britain. And we're going to Italy. Italian champion in 2011 and from 2013 all the way to this year, Paolo Vicenzi. And now, are there any Polish fans here? 9 times Polish champion. Here is Arkadiusz Drozdek. 5 times US STS champion and the US record holder in the underhand. Please welcome Matt Kogar!
Take that thing, miss, kinda.
Og nå er vi framme ved mannen alle disse utøverne ønsker å slå. Ta en titt på videoveggen. La oss se dette klippet fra mannen som vant i fjor.
This is the ultimate for me. It's something that you know I live for. This is what I want to do. I think the motivation for me is as strong as ever. If you don't do your absolute best, you're not going to win it.
Oh, mamma mia. Fra New Zealand, 8 times world champion, Mr. Jason Wynyard! Already a world champion from yesterday in the team events. Jason Wynyard, the living legend. Okay, bånn gass, folkens. Dette her er en levende legende. Gi ham den varme Lillehammer-hjemkomsten han trenger for å være her og bli her litt. La oss høre det for Jason Wynyard! Ok. Men, kjære venner, det er vel en nasjon og en utøver vi ennå ikke har hilst på. There is one more to go! Ta en titt på videoveggen bak her. La oss se på dette klippet. Check this out. Og nå, på vei mot scenen, nå reiser vi oss, folkens! Nå vifter vi med flaggene! Nå gir vi Vebjørn Bleka Sønsteby alt han kan få av vår kjærlighet og vår varme! Han skal levere i dag på hjemmebane på Lillehammer! Å, du verden, dette blir spennende! siste, det du gjør etter at du har kappet et tre, det ligger på bakken, og du er nødt til å dele det opp, ikke sant? Diameteren er 32 centimeter, og kravet er å hogge fra begge sider, mens du står oppå stokken, så du skjønner at dette er både kraft, balanse og utholdenhet på en gang. Ok, Troy and Sterling, I'll leave it up to you now.
Thank you, Lars. Well, really looking forward to getting this individual competition underway here at the STIHL Timbersports World Championship 2017 here in Lillehammer, Norway. What a fantastic venue, a fantastic audience. How are you guys doing out there? Are you ready for the original extreme sport? Let's hear you make a bit of noise. Yes. There you see our start list. The athletes will be doing head-to-head battles during the first rounds, and here's the way the format will work. We have 3 rounds in the first part of our competition where we have the underhand chop. This will be the 2 blocks sitting at the very front of the stage. Then we will move on to the stock saw. That is the MS661, I believe. Is that right,
That
Sterling?
is correct.
That'll be the stock saw. That's the basic saw off of the shelf from the store that you can buy your steel equipment at. Then we will go to the standing block chop. That is where they fell a tree in traditional style, hammering an axe into the side to try and get the top block off. The best 8 from those first 3 rounds will advance to the next 2 rounds. And then we will see the single buck. That is the long single-man saw that goes through the big block on the back there. And the springboard, which my colleague here, Sterling Hart, holds the world record in from last year's World Championship in Stuttgart. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, once upon a time, that was my forte. And actually, the Canadian representative this year, Mitchell Hewitt, was actually the previous world record holder. And I was out back this morning watching the guys prepare their wood. And it looks good, you know, and we may see that world record go down again this year.
All right, well, that's going to be a tough one to beat. Assuming that the guys can get through there with the best 6 times, then we will get on to what many consider the favorite, the king's discipline here, the hot saw. Basically, this tool that these guys using is a motorcycle without wheels. It's essentially a motorcycle engine that's been given a saw blade on the end. It's insane. And from that hot saw, we will determine who will be the new STIHL Timbersports World Champion 2017. We hope you guys are ready for a fantastic show. I'm excited to be working with Sterling once again. Sterling, your thoughts on what we've seen so far from yesterday and what we can expect to see this evening?
You know, we've gathered the premier athletes in the sports of in the timber world, sporting world. And I think we expect to see some world records go down again this year. And I think with the crowd's encouragement, we're going to see that happen. Are you guys ready? Then let's do it.
Okidoki, da vi klare. Vil dere være så snille alle sammen og ta godt imot på scenen fra Italia, from Italy, Paolo Vicenzi. And from the Great Britain, Mr. Elgin Pugh. Vi kan jo bare nevne at Elgin har altså en annen plass i det britiske mesterskapet. Tilbake igjen i 2014, og så vant han de 3 neste årene, så han er i kjempeform. Og Paolo Vicenzi, han er 8 ganger. Ja, nei, han ble nummer 8 i World Championship tilbake for 2 år siden. Han er italiensk mester og har vært det siden tidenes morgen. Da er vi klare.
Okay, gentlemen, time is ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, here we go. This is the first discipline, and we are looking for fast times here, ladies and gentlemen. The idea here is to cut through the first half of the log and get a significant amount of wood out of the way and then move to the other side. Now, what you've just witnessed is Elgin Pugh on deck B, or your right-hand side, move over to the other side of the log before Paolo. Paolo has now come over. He's on deck A. Your left-hand side, keep note of the A and B because that may be important later on if there are investigations on the stage. And we see Elgin Pugh get through in a time of 29:75. Paolo Vicenzi through in 31:19. All right, now we see that there is an investigation on deck, I believe it's deck B, in fact. It's on the other side, on the right-hand side. Correct me if I'm wrong. Deck B is on the right-hand side?
Deck B will be on the right-hand side, Deck A on the left. I can't actually see where the infraction may have taken place at this moment.
All right, well, we're going to find out.
Okay, both cuts are good.
Okay, well, we were given a little bit of strange information there, but it looks like both cuts are good, so those times will in fact count. So Elgin Pugh at the moment has the full pull of 12 points, so that goes in 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and maybe you can explain a little bit about how the points breakdown will change from this round to the next round when we get under the stock saw.
Exactly, you know, you're going to see that first place athlete coming out of the underhand with 12 points, and then moving into that stock saw. The stock saw is actually proven to be the usually what determines a lot of these championships. It's a completely level playing field. Everybody's using the exact same saws that are tuned to be identical. So it comes down to the operator and how much skill he possesses. So, you know, coming into that next event, that's going to be really important for all of these guys.
All right, taking a look at some of the slow-mo action. Right at the front of your screen there is Paolo Vicenzi, who came out of that second with a time of 30.86 after having it corrected. Elgin Pugh winning that one, but those times may be improved upon, so it's not necessarily that Elgin won this one that he's going to stay on top. There are other athletes that may well get a faster time in this underhand chop.
Okay, da vi klare for heat nummer 2. Heat number 2. Fra Polen, Arkadiusz Drozdek. Og fra Norge! Vebjørn Bleka Sønsteby! Å, du verden, for et liv vi skal skape for deg nå, Vebjørn. Vi skal gi deg all den støtten du trenger på veien. Okay, guys.
All right, well, we've got a local guy out there, folks. Vebjørn Bleka Sønsteby, come on, let's give him a lot of support. He's got a tough battle on his hands against Arkadiusz Drozdek, who has a big fan crowd up there. He's got fans in the crowd. Here we go.
Okay, gentlemen, timer's ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, this is a discipline that Arkadiusz does very well at. Through the team competition, he was the hook on the underhand chop, and he is already moving over to the other side, delaying just a really quick little delay to make sure his footing was exactly right. Vebjørn now moving over to the other side, getting some big chips out of those logs, and it looks like Arkadiusz is going to get through with one final blow. Vebjørn still trying to work that block. He's going to take a few more hits to get through. Arkadiusz has got a time of 23.04. That puts him on top for the moment. And Vebjørn with a 33.26.
Now, it's important to note the times you see up here on the left and right-hand side of the stage, those are actually unofficial times at this moment. So until we get over to the decision zone and everything is reviewed, that's when we'll have our official times. And what I'm seeing already here through the first two heats is the wood's coming a little bit firmer than traditionally it is at the World Championships. So what that's going to do is it's going to favor the more experienced axemen, you know, the ones that...
Okay, guys, nice work. Both cuts are good.
All right, so Arkadiusz Drozdek with 22.80. That's a very good time. He is the man to beat at the moment. And I think we're going to get some slow-mo action here. Maybe you can pick it apart a little bit and explain what we're seeing here.
Yeah, you know, it's really important when the wood is a little bit tougher like this to space your axe out properly. There you see a good turn by our Norwegian champion. And it's not typically his strongest event. You're going to see him come through more in the standing block. But Arkadiusz, of course, riding off that high from last night, Poland going home with their first ever medal in the team event.
Yeah, fantastic job by them, by the way. Silver medal for Team Poland last night.
Ok, da vi klare til heat nummer 3. Fra Canada, Mitch Hewitt. Og fra Tyskland, Robert Ebner. Mitch Hewitt altså 5 ganger kanadisk mester, og Tysklands Robert Ebner også 5 ganger tysk mester. Dette kommer til å bli tett, jevnt og spennende.
All right, looking forward to seeing this battle. We've seen Canada-Germany battle last night in the team competition, and now Canada and Germany going at it again with Robert Ebner and Mitch Hewitt here. I'm a little bit torn. I know who you're rooting for, so I'm going to go on Robert's side here.
Okay, gentlemen, timer's ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, good start by Mitch Hewitt. He gets a couple of quick blows in there. Robert Ebner got his axe stuck on that first blow, and it's happened once again. That's going to cost a bit of a time problem for him. Mitch Hewitt looking very good as he jumps quickly over to the other side of the log. Ebner following closely behind, but he's really struggling to get those axe hits correctly and accurately into the log, and Mitch Hewitt is through. Wow, what a great time. 22:71 for Mitch Hewitt. And as you mentioned earlier, Sterling, that is unofficial. And Robert Ebner with a fantastic time as well, 26:64.
And unofficially, that's going to put Mitch Hewitt in the lead currently in the underhand. And as I was saying, that favors the more experienced axemen. And Mitchell Hewitt and both Robert Ebner, more typically known as standing block cutters, but very underrated in the underhand.
Well, I mean, one of his favorite disciplines, Robert himself says all axe disciplines he likes.
Okay, guys, both cuts are good.
All right, that's made official the time of Mitch Hewitt. He is on top for the moment with a 22:47. Arkadiusz Drozdek holding down second place with a 22:80, and Robert Ebner in third place with a 26:30. And now we're going to go up to the decision zone where Lars is with Mitch Hewitt right now.
Well, Mitch, congratulations. Are you happy?
Yeah, reasonably happy. The wood was probably a little tighter than I was thinking, but it was all right. It's good.
You having a good time here in Lillehammer?
Yeah, very much.
Hope to see you again soon then.
Yeah, you bet. I'll be here.
Good luck, yeah?
And there you have a patented Mitch Hewitt interview, the one we all know and love. A man of few words, but he makes those words count.
Ok, vi klare for et nytt heat. Her går det unna, folkens. Heat nummer 4. Fra Østerrike, Armin Kugler. And from France, Pierre Bubaré.
Cameraman almost got himself a lens full of axe there from Armin Kugler as he took a couple of practice swings and rotations on top of the block. Here we go.
Okay, gentlemen, timer's ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, the initial hit by Pierre Bubaré got stuck on that B side, and Armin Kugler looking like he is going for the quick attack of this block. He really wants to get over to the other side quickly, but look at that. Pierre Bubaré makes a quick jump to the other side ahead of Armin Kugler, and now Kugler coming over to join him on that backside. Pierre Bubaré looking like he's making short work of that block. Wow, a 22:59. That puts him unofficially in second place. Armin Kugler, I think he left himself a little bit too much wood to go through on this backside. We'll take a look at that afterwards with expert analysis from Sterling here with a 33.83. He's not going to be really happy with that. He's at the bottom of the pack there in 8th place.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough thing for some of these less experienced axemen. You know, if you don't put enough hits in the front, you turn around a little too early, you can really run into trouble on the backside of that block.
Maybe when we look at that slow motion, you can give us a little bit of a more, a better idea of what we're talking about when you cut too much out of the front or not enough out of the front.
I will break it down for you.
Nice.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
There you see with the official time now coming out at a 22:35. That puts Pierre Bubaré, the French champion, into first place in the underhand chop. And as we see in the replay here, sometimes those guys coming up on their toes lose a little bit of balance. Pierre spacing his axe perfectly here, coming off in 1, 2, 3 drives, and that's what you want to have, is that block coming off exactly when you think it's going to.
And there's a great view of our pit crew taking care of that stage, and something that we talk about often is the professionalism and the speed with which they do prepare that stage. It's so important for these athletes to have a safe working area up there.
Yeah, this is an immaculate stage they put together for us, and it's known as the best competition field in all of timber sports.
Ok, nå vi her. Vi så heldige å være her og få muligheten til å se en av historiens aller beste. Ta vel imot fra Australia, Brad DeLosa, og fra Tsjekkia, Martin Komarek. 5 ganger bronse, 3 ganger sølvmedalje. Dette 2 av verdens beste utøvere på scenen akkurat nå.
Well, I wonder if Brad DeLosa has been taking any notes from some of the younger guys on his team, because there are a couple of guys there that can really move that axe head when it comes to the underhand chop, and if he has been, boy, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and probably he's got something to prove after last night's elimination from taking another championship.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, this looks like it could be coordinated axe work here with both of these gentlemen. Martin Komarek getting a little bit stuck there. Meanwhile, Brad DeLosa, he's got great flow moving over to the other side, slightly behind Martin Komarek. Komarek looks like he's got the advantage here. Oh, but he gets his axe caught twice now. It's going to be a real close one. Komarek is going to do it in 2015. And Brad DeLosa has a 20:55. Unofficially, both of those guys are now at the top of the leaderboard, with Martin just slightly ahead, and Brad DeLosa taking on the second position now with that great heat we just saw.
Yeah, and you know, that's going to shake things up a bit. That's a huge cut for Martin Komarek. A very strong underhand cutter, but he's very, very strong right across the board, and for him to get a leg up on Australia's Brad DeLosa this early in the competition, that's going to do good for him down the road here.
He's also one of the eldest competitors in this competition. He's been at it since, I believe, even from the very first event. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, guys, both cuts are good.
All right, Sterling Hart getting a fist bump from Martin Komarek as he leaves the decision zone. And we take a look back at this heat in slow-mo.
Yeah, you know, Martin, I was talking to him earlier in the day, and he hasn't had as much time to put into training as he would have liked, because he actually just had a brand new baby girl last week.
Oh.
So that was taking up a little bit of his time, and I know that's been on his mind all week. So this now, he has come ready to play. You know,
Cool.
That's a big leg up for him early in the competition.
Well, I would say we owe Martin Komarek a big congratulations for being a new papa. Come on, let's give him some noise out there, yeah? All right.
But we're moving on to the heavyweights of the underhand chop. Jason Wynyard on stand A and Matt Coger from the USA on stand B. Look for those times to fall. These are the 2 premier underhand cutters in the world today.
Ok, da vi klare for siste heat, folkens. Fra USA, 5 ganger US champion Matt Coger. Og fra New Zealand med den fantastiske tiden 12:33, 8 ganger verdensmester og en levende legende, Mr. Jason Wynyard. Ja, det helt utrolig at vi skal få oppleve sånne flotte utøvere her på Lillehammer og overalt egentlig. Men nå det bare å ikke blunke for lenge med øynene, for da stubben kappa, for å si det sånn. Right, guys?
What you said, actually, yes. Completely agree. I concur.
Over to you guys.
Jason Wynyard, a former world record holder in this event, and Matt Coger over on stand B is actually the current US record holder as of this summer. So I think we're about to see something special here.
Yeah, I think so. The mantle has been passed from Arden Kogar to Matt Kogar now, taking on duties here on stage.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, both guys start with a little bit of an uneasy first hit, but then the speed gets going, and look at this. Wow, Jason Wynyard hopping like a 10-year-old boy after eating all his Halloween candy to the other side of that block. He is getting through, but oh my goodness, look at the time from Matt Kogar, a 16:36. He snuck that one in there under our noses, and meanwhile, Jason with a fantastic time of 18:67. Both of these guys obliterating the 20-second mark and moving into first and second place, respectively, of course, unofficially.
And you know, I think that's faster than anybody in this stadium. Imagine one of those underhands could have been cut. Very firm wood, but Matt is a technician in this event, and he showed why he is truly one of the best in the world at the underhand.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
And here you see in the slow motion replay, the ferocity of the hits that Matt Kogar is putting into that block. This is one of his stronger events. Getting onto the backside, you see Jason Wynyard putting in maybe what could have been a shorter front, not enough hits in the front. And going around to the back, you see the power and the accuracy of Matt Kogar. And there, Jason Wynyard having to go back and take one extra hit to get that block off, and that cost him a couple seconds, but still enough to get him in second place in the underhand chop.
Well, I mean, that was an unbelievable block by Matt Kogar, and look at that, celebrating as he should for the USA. What a great job by him.
And that's what these athletes are trying to do, coming right out of the gates. If you can get a win in that first event, you carry that confidence and that momentum now into the stock saw. You know, that's a hard train to slow down, as Matt Kogar with a head full of steam.
Yeah, absolutely, and there we see Matt Kogar, Jason Wynyard, and Martin Komarek in the top 3 positions here in our discipline ranking. So what that gives us is now the breakdown of points after the first discipline is taken care of. Now, when we move to the second discipline, which is going to be the stock saw, the points are going to be distributed a little bit differently. Explain that one really quickly for our audience here.
Well, you know, as we go through this, a lot of athletes are a little bit more technically sufficient in this event, and that's where you're going to see a lot of the European competitors come through and steal a few points away from the Australasians and the North Americans. They really excel at the stock saw event.
Okay.
All right, well, stock saw coming up next.
Ja, bare ta stillingen så langt, folkens. Matt Kogar altså 12 poeng. Jason Wynyard 11 poeng, og Martin Komarek med et nyfødt barn da for en uke siden på tredjeplass med 10. Vår egen Vebjørn får 2 poeng. En applaus til Vebjørn nå. Ja, ok. Det jo sikkert morsomt for dere å bli med bak scenen. La oss ta en tur bak her for å se hva som foregår på det dere ikke ser, hverken på TV eller dere som her i salen. Hey, Spike Milton, the Global Sports Director of Timbersports. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's getting a little busy now. The competition's on its way, and the guys are pretty behind the scenes here. Yeah, it's looking positive.
Great so far, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, that's what a cracking start to the competition. Great times there. So, you know, it's a long way to go yet.
And we are standing right here where people do the interviews and, you know, and the ceremonies, the interviews and everything when the athletes. If we move further down here, Spike, we can go down here and we see many of the athletes sitting here resting. How are you guys doing? Everything good? Yeah? Og vi har Røde Kors her også, det jo jaggu bra. Og nå vi på en måte bak scenen her da. Og her ikke akkurat ryddig, men det skal jo ikke være heller. Her holder folk på med å ordne og fikse. How are you guys doing? Everything good? Okay, Spike, tell us. This is like organized chaos, isn't it?
There's no chaos up here. Everything's to schedule. Everything's planned, laid out. These deck crews know exactly what they're doing, at what stage needs to go, where and when. The athletes, yeah, they're having a little bit of relax, but they're calculating what they need to do in their next event. And they're getting really focused all the time. So you can see there's a multitude of tools, different bits of equipment. So when it's required, it's here, ready to go.
We have to move over to this side here, Spike. Because in the back, we see the wood. Tell us about the wood. It's no ordinary wood, is it?
No, this is all matched wood. It's all come out of one block. We spent a lot of time processing this to get it. A premier event, you need the premier wood. And yeah, we certainly know how to put that together here. Some great trees in the background you'll see as the competition moves on through. Everything's ready to go. All the prep's done, and now it's down to the athletes.
Where is that wood from, you know?
Oh yeah, this wood's from Belgium. That's where it's grown. There's a lot of hybrid poplar that is grown in Belgium. There's big blocks there, and we've got a really, really good guy who actually resources everything and builds it. And that's Bart, our main woodman. He's awesome.
All this to make sure that the event is even for all the athletes.
Absolutely. All the guys have a practice block, not really a practice block, a testing block. You come from all around the world. Wood is different everywhere. But you know what? We give them a little bit of wood. They can test their axes, and they can come out with a really, really positive axe that they know they're going to produce the best times. And we want world records here.
We do. What are the feedbacks you've gotten from the contestants on this particular wood?
Well, I know this wood's a little firmer this year. It was a bit quicker last year, but it's really, really consistent and even. And I've had no news. No news is good news.
Ok, disse stokkene er altså litt grann tettere enn kanskje fjorårets, som gjør at tidene ikke er helt nede, men det var ikke langt unna, det så vi jo Matt Coger gjøre her nå. Ok, vi er ganske straks klare med en ny øvelse. Jeg setter over til Troy og til deg, Sterling. Over to you, guys.
Thank you, Lars. Getting ready for the next group coming out here, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, here's our start list for our next set of rounds here. It is Stock Saw coming your way. Mitch Hewitt and Brad DeLosa will be starting things off for us. Again, Armin Kugler, Matt Kogar will be battling against each other. Paolo Vicenzi, Elgin Pugh in heat against each other. Vebjorn Sonstaby and Robert Ebner. Jason Wynyard, Arkadiusz Drozdek, Pierre Puy-Barret and Martin Komarek. So those are your pairings for the Stock Saw round.
After the starting shot, the contestants have to cut off 2 wooden discs, so-called cookies, within the 10cm mark. One downward and one upward. The try is valid when both discs have been cut off completely and within the markings. STIHL MS 660. The chainsaw is a serial machine with 7.1 horsepower and 91.6 cubic centimetre motor and weighs about 7.3 kilos. Neither the high-performance saw engine nor guide rail or chain are allowed to be modified or adjusted for the contest. In order to guarantee the unspoiled serial condition, the chainsaws are supplied for the contest.
Ok, da er vi klare for en helt ny øvelse. Det er altså Stock Saw. Og la oss ønske velkommen på scenen fra Canada, Mitch Hewitt, og fra Australia, Brad DeLosa. Og nå er det altså motorsag det handler om. Denne øvelsen her stiller alle utøvere med identiske motorsager. Det er STIHL MS 661. De skal altså sage 2 skiver av stokken, som er 40 cm i diameter. Okay, Troy and Sterling.
Now, I think I'm going to give a little advantage to Mitchell Hewitt on stand A. He was actually the stock sawyer for Team Canada, taking home 4th place yesterday. So he's had a chance to test this out already.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saws. Hands on the wood. Get set.
All right, here we go. The big difference here in the individual competition is these guys have to cut 2 blocks inside of a 10cm area and get a great time on it. It looks like Mitch Hewitt did do exactly what you said, Sterling. Great time for him, 10:43. Brad DeLosa with an 11:20.
10:43, Mitchell Hewitt lowering his personal best by nearly 2 seconds. And I think that experience from the team's race yesterday really paid off for him. You saw him going for it in that event. 2 perfect discs. And I think he's going to be really happy with that cut.
Now, you saw our judges look briefly at the cut lines to make sure that everything is fair.
Okay, nice work, guys. Both cuts are good.
You gotta fight for your right to
So So, Sterling, let's look at this really quickly. You see, great start by both of these guys. And you always said, and Roger yesterday said, thin to win. Now, why is that exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Well, these guys are running equally matched saws, so everything comes down to the operator. Whereas the underhand chop is known as more of a physical event, the stock saw is a mental event. It's how much pressure you put down on it. You look at Mitchell Hewitt running that perfectly, because cutting a thin disc means there's less compression, less pressure pushing down on that saw, and that's going to allow those chips to come out a little bit faster. And that's why you saw Mitch Hewitt come through with a superior time.
And also, the judges are, you'll see them often checking the lines that have been drawn on the log. Now, if a saw cuts over the line, that means a disqualification for that particular athlete on that particular side, correct?
Exactly, Troy. They've only got 10 centimeters of wood in which to make 2 cuts, 1 down and 1 up.
Ok, da vi klare. Tusen takk, gutter. Da vi klare for heat nummer 2 I stock saw. Fra Østerrike, Armin Kugler. And from the USA, Matt Cogar. Og det kan jo være greit å vite at foruten at stokken 40 cm I diameter, så det også påkrevet sikkerhetsutstyr, som helt spesielle bukser, som tåler I hvert fall en god stund å komme bort til saga. Det også helt påkrevet med både ørepropper og beskyttelsesvern for øynene.
All right, the other thing you'll see these guys doing is they'll have 15 seconds to warm up their saws. Now, the idea is there that they're going to have a running start on these saws so that they can have the saws on before they start this event. Here we go.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saws. Hands on the wood. Get set.
All right, Armin Kugler in stand A in the red shirt, left side of the stage. Matt Kogar on stand B, blue shirt, right side of the stage. Armin with a great run there. An 11.66 to Matt Kogar's 12.03. And it looked like Armin got real close to the line on the upcut there at the top of the log. The judges will check that to make sure that everything is okay. And also, the cookies have to be complete on hitting the floor. Is that correct as well?
Yeah, the judges will visually inspect to make sure they haven't cut over that 10-centimeter line, as well as they have 2 complete discs on the ground. When we'll get the decision from Judge Andy Hall in just a moment.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
What we're going to see in the replay here, Matt Kogar had a beautiful start, a perfect sized disc, but you see the saw stall slightly. What that means is the wood was possibly a little bit softer than he had anticipated. Pushing down too hard on that saw is going to cause it to stall in the wood and the chain slow down, which you'll see in our slow motion replay right there. And that's what caused him to be more than 1.5 seconds behind our current leader, Mitch Hewitt. And as we look at our times there, Mitch Hewitt in first place, followed by Brad DeLosa, Armin Kugler, and Matt Kogar. Both Mitch Hewitt and Brad DeLosa posting their personal best times here at the World Championships.
That's a good sign for them as well, because it gives them great points as we move forward. But we've still got quite a few athletes still to go in this stock saw.
Ja, da vi klare, kjære venner, med heat nummer 3, og da skal vi til Italia, til Paolo Vicenzi, og vi skal til Storbritannia, Elgin Pugh. Ja, veldig hyggelig for Elgin Pugh fra Storbritannia. Han glad I å stå på ski, og hvis han glad I å stå på ski, så bør han jo ha vært på Lillehammer og stått I bakkene her for stort bedre enn dette. Får du ikke, og du får I hvert fall ikke sånn I England, det helt sikkert. Og Italias Paolo Vicenzi har vært blant de 8-10 beste I verden I mange, mange år.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saws. on the wood. Get set.
All right, Elgin Pugh on stand B, Paolo Vicenzi on stand A, both of them wearing blue, but it looks like Elgin Pugh has a slight advantage on the upstroke here, and it looks like he's going to get through in 11:58. Wow, what a great run for Elgin Pugh, 12:46 for Paolo Vicenzi.
And again, as I said before, this is a mental event known as the equalizer. When we get a chance to look at the replay, it looks like the guy on stand A, Paolo Vicenzi of Italy, might have put a little bit too much pressure coming into that first cut. We'll get a chance to look at the slow motion replay right after we get the final decision from Judge Andy Hall.
Okay, nice work, guys. Both cuts are good.
Something interesting that Roger Phelps pointed out to me yesterday, Sterling, is that sometimes the guys will get a little bit nervous out there and they might grab the chain brake, which costs a lot of time as well. And we actually did see that occur yesterday during the competition. And hopefully we're not going to see it today, but that's something that does happen occasionally.
Yeah, of course. There is so many things that can go wrong in this event. Everything's going through your head because it's a game of milliseconds. You know, that's all it's going to come down to between first and last placed here. So these guys are overthinking every single decision, and sometimes the best thing to do is go back to basics. Pick the saw up, cut 2 discs, move on. Overthinking it, sometimes you tend to make a few little mental errors as we see both these discs coming through, but getting through with a good time, that's all these guys are looking for, is to get some wood on the ground and get a qualifying time in for the stock saw.
Well, it looks like we had 2 really good cuts on this one. The times weren't as fast as perhaps they had thought they would like them to be, but, you know, that's the way it is. This is STIHL Timbersports.
And there you see our leaderboard. Not much has changed after that heat, but we have some of the premier stock sawyers in the world coming up in our last 3 heats.
Ok, vi klare for heat nummer 4. Fra Tyskland, Robert Ebner. Og fra Norge, Vebjørn Sønsteby. Og det som interessant at dette her Vebjørns favorittdisiplin. Han har en fantastisk tid på 10.63, som helt i verdenstoppen. Så nå krysser vi fingrene for Vebjørn.
All right, the Norwegian champion out there, Vebjørn Sønsteby. Got lots of support from the local crowd here, and of course Robert Ebner, he's solid. Let's see how he can do. Robert's best time with stock saw is a 10:52.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready, contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saws. Hands on the wood. Get set.
Wow, quick start by Robert Ebner there. Sønsteby also looking very good, but Robert already on that upstroke. Looks like he's struggling a little bit to put a lot of pressure on the saw, though. Holy smokes, folks, look how close that was. 11:32 for Ebner and 11:54 for Sønsteby. That was a close heat.
And there you see what it's going to come down to. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys within 1 second, all in that 11-second range. So that's when it comes down to those 1/10 of a second, those 100th of a second, putting a little bit too much pressure, a little bit of a fumble on the start. Now, neither of these guys look overly pleased, but hopefully qualifying cuts.
Okay, excellent work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
All right, we see in the replay here a great start by Robert Ebner, getting into that wood, perfectly timed entrance.
He looked really relaxed as well.
He did, you know, it's one of his stronger events, or the sawing events, and it's where he's going to make up ground on some of the chopping. You know, you got the Australians, the Canadians, the Americans, and the Kiwis who are going to possibly pull ahead in those chopping events. So if Robert Ebner is going to make a move and improve on his last podium finish, this is where he's got to do it.
All right, and speaking of a great saw, we've got Lars right now with Vebjørn Sundsteby.
Ok, Vebjørn. Hvordan dette her å stå her på Lillehammer? Det VM, og det hjemmebane, og alt sammen. Hvordan har du det?
Nei, det ganske ekstremt. Det ikke helt som en vanlig VM-konkurranse vi gjør før. Det ekstremt.
Det hyggelig at folk så med på laget ditt nå, Vebjørn.
Ja, det moro.
Det deilig å komme i gang også, eller?
Ja, litt misfornøyd med første øvelse, men mobiliserer litt i siste øvelsen nå før vi skifter runde. Så.
Vi gleder oss.
Det gjør jeg jo.
Ok, få høre det, folkens, fra Vebjørn. Vi vil ha med hele veien! Ja, dette moro. Og hvis det noen der ute i ung alder, så må dere begynne med motorsag før lagidrettene tar det. Ok!
All right, we've got coming up on stand A, New Zealand's Jason Wynyard, currently in second place overall, taking on Poland's Arkadiusz, coming off a high last night of placing in that silver medal in the teams event. Both these men looking to improve upon their already great positions.
Jason Wynyard's also known for being so focused on training in each and every one of these disciplines as well, which is why he's so strong and an 8-time world champion.
Timers ready, contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saws. Hands on the wood, get set.
Really good start by both of these guys, but I do believe Arkadiusz got a bit of a quicker entrance into the wood, and it looks like he's pretty strong on the upstroke, but here comes Jason Wynyard with an 11.60. Oh, wow! 1/100th of a second difference between those two. Of course, this is unofficial, but look at that, an 11.60 to an 11.59, and I do believe, I mean, at least I thought that Jason Wynyard got that disc off sooner, but it looks like Arkadiusz Drozdik did. So Arkadiusz's fans in the audience should be super pleased with that.
But look at this. We got a flag on the ground. Something is going to be reviewed over here, so maybe those positions will change. The judges are going to go and have a closer inspection in the video booth.
All right, that little yellow dude down there, that's a Pokemon on the play, and that means there's going to be an investigation on...
Okay, we're going to make a video check for a photo finish.
Well, that's how close that was.
Yeah, you look at these standings, when they'll come up on the board, currently we have 7 competitors within 0.6 of a second, all in that 11-second range. And already, in our previous heat, we've already got a tie for 4th place between your hometown Vebjørn and Great Britain's Elgin Pugh at 11.48. So what we're really hoping to avoid here is another tie. So the judges are going to go in and try and make an official ruling on this. That way we can get a winner. Extremely close. You very rarely see this in an event like this, but it just goes to show you how much it matters to nail down every single transition.
And those milliseconds is count for everything at the moment.
Every tiny aspect of this. Nerve-wracking for both our competitors. I'm sure they're both looking to move up that leaderboard, currently sitting down in 7th and 8th. So it's likely their positions won't improve, but that 1 point can make all the difference when it comes down to those final events.
Okay, chaps, both cuts are good.
But it looks like I spoke too soon. Jason Wynyard making the jump from 8th all the way up to 4th place upon further inspection. A beautiful entry into the wood. You see him taking that perfectly sized disc coming down. Jason actually works as a still technician part-time in New Zealand, so he knows exactly how these saws are optimally run, and he proved that he knows and has that technical prowess to pull off a victory.
My goodness, was that ever close? So in that last little flourish from Jason Wynyard, I guess, was the difference maker. It looked like Arkadiusz Drozdek did have the advantage early on there, but Jason Wynyard, as he has done so often with many of these sawing events, comes from behind. He's so strong there, and he actually ended up getting an 11:46 as opposed to an 11:49. And Arkadiusz Drozdek finishes off with an 11:50. So Arkadiusz at the moment sitting in 7th place, but you could see there Jason Wynyard in the leaderboard in 4th with Mitch Hewitt still sitting on top of this discipline.
And that's what we like to see as a Canadian.
Yes.
And if you look on our standings, when they pop up on that screen, we've got 4th through 8th place, all within 1/10 of a second.
Unbelievable.
Ja, da skal vi ha ut det siste heatet i stocks, og fra Frankrike, Pierre Pubaret, og fra Czechia, from the Czech Republic, Martin Komarek. Og Pierre er altså fransk mester han i både 2014, 2015 og 2017, mens Martin gleder seg skikkelig til Springboard, men da må han klare å kvalifisere seg.
Martin Komarek over there on stand B, a former world record holder in this event. Pierre Pubaret of France over on stand A, a very, very technically sound stock sawer. Look for both of these men to put up cuts probably in the top half of our leaderboard.
These two will also be the last two to battle in stock saw.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your swords. Hands on the wood. Get set.
Very good start by Pierre Pubaret. Martin Komarek, however, has got a great flow going through the log, and he just makes that transition so quickly and so easily. And look at that, a fantastic time from Martin Komarek. On the other side, an 11:47. Pierre Pubaret with a 12:11, and boy, did he ever come close to the line at the top.
Yeah, a great cut by both those gentlemen. Judge Rich Hallett and Judge Annie Hull are going to have a closer look over those. But I can tell you, Martin Komarek is not going to be very happy with his cut. This is his event. Typically, he's won it. He was the winner of this event last year. That's what pushed him to the podium. He had a slight bobble on the start.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
And that's the end of our stock saw. We'll now be moving on to the standing block. But a great thing to note in that, no DQs, no disqualifications through the whole stock saw.
Yeah, we've normally seen at least one in past events. And let's take a look at the slow-mo here. That was the start from Pierre Pubaret, I think.
Yeah, it's too bad we didn't get another look at Martin Komarek's, but there you see a little bobble by Pierre. That's what's going to cost him a couple tenths of a second, bumping him down to 10th place overall in that still stock saw. While Martin Komarek, such a technician, this beautiful cuts. You see that transition, no time wasted, smooth entry into the wood, and that's why he came out with a 4th place position, and he's currently sitting in 3rd place overall.
All right, so round 1, again, has 3 disciplines in it. We've already gone through the underhand chop and the stock saw, and we will be moving on to the standing block chop, which is what the gentlemen on stage are setting up right now. And you can see those 2 vertical logs that are mid-stage. And the idea is there to get through that block as though you're cutting down a standing tree. So the discipline ranking currently after stock saw, we've got Mitch Hewitt in the top there with a 10:30, Brad DeLosa, Robert Ebner, Martin Komarek, and Jason Wynyard rounding out the top 5. And Elgin Pugh is sitting in a tie with Vebjorn Sonsteby in 6th place, Arkadiusz Drozdek in 8th, and Armin Kugler 9th, Pierre Pubaret 10, Matt Kogar 11, and Paolo Vicenzi in 12th place. So the ideal situation is to be among the top 8 here as we look at the overall standings after 2 disciplines. Brad DeLosa and Jason Wynyard top the group with 20 and 19 points respectively, and Martin Komarek is tied there with Jason Wynyard with a 19-point, as well as Mitch Hewitt. So that's a real battle that's brewing for that second and third spot right there. Robert Ebner and Matt Kogar in 5 and 6, Pierre Pouillet-Barré in 7th, and Arkadiusz Drozdek in 8th.
Ok, folkens, da vi her, og da har vi stillingen så langt etter 2 øvelser her, altså Brad DeLosa fra Australia, 1 poeng foran Jason Wynyard, og vi har vår egen Vebjørn nede på en 10. plass. Men du verden, så bra han gjorde i Stockso, og der var det altså 3 deltagere innenfor 200 deler da, 200 deler. Så Vebjørn gjør det bra så langt, gjør han ikke det? Har dere det bra, folkens? Det moro? Ja, det jo gøy her på Lillehammer, for det jo noe annet enn bare vedhogst som bedrives her. Vi har jo et ørlite skianlegg rett oppi gata her, og i den anledning så det jo veldig hyggelig at andre idrettsutøvere synes det stas å komme på Timbersports. Skal vi gi dem en varm velkomst da? Vi har noen skihoppere her. Ta godt imot Robert Johansson, Kenneth Gangnes og Sigurd Nymoen Søberg! Ja, Robert, du verden så fin bart du har.
Jo, takk for det.
Ja, det jo Movember nå, kanskje. Hele året for deg, egentlig.
Det har blitt hele året, så det dedikert.
Denne idretten dere får med dere her i dag jo ganske annerledes enn det dere selv driver med. Vi prøvde jo å få dere til å svinge øksa her, men Støkkel sa det kan vi bare glemme.
Det blir fort gjort å få en strekk i biceps og sånn, vet du, så jeg tror vi kan holde oss unna det.
Ja, de litt større i overarmen enn dere, disse gutta her.
Ja, det litt forskjell, ja. Det det.
Ok, jeg skal bare flytte meg i midten her til deg, Kenneth. Jeg vil bare nevne det. Hvor langt det du har hoppet igjen?
252.
Hva sier vi til det, ja? 252 meter? Ja, du har jo ikke hoppet like langt, det må jo være fryktelig bittert, Kenneth.
Ja, jeg sov dårlig om natta for det.
Hvor langt har du hoppet?
248,5.
248,5? Du i form til vinteren?
Ja, jeg tror det. Jeg tror jeg god form.
Og hva synes du om dette her, da?
Nei, det steintøft, ass. Skal være så ærlig å si.
Du god med motorsaga, du, eller?
Jeg dritdårlig, ass.
Ja, du i hvert fall ærlig. Du, jeg må snakke med han unggutten på fløyen her. Det ikke sikkert alle kjenner deg, Sigurd, men hvilket av disse landslagene du på?
Jeg på nivå under de gutta her, så jeg B-laget da.
Ja, men her alle A-lag. Og vi må jo bare nevne at han var prøvehopper i Vikersund. Og før det prøvehoppet, Sigurd, hvor langt hadde du hoppet da?
Da hadde jeg hoppet 146 i den bakken oppe her.
Akkurat. Og hvor langt hoppet du som prøvehopper i Vikersund for 2 år siden?
Jeg la på 90 meter, og det ble 236.
236 meter som prøvehopper! Hæ? Her har vi altså gutter som har hoppet til sammen borte i 800 meter. Jeg synes de fortjener en ordentlig applaus, jeg. Og vi gleder oss til vinteren. Ok. Mens vi har dere her, du skjønner, vi har fryktelig mye vi har lyst til å gi bort til publikum, men kunne jeg være så vennlig å be om en liten hjelpende hånd? Kan dere bli med på det, gutter? Ja, så får dere trent kastarmen. Den dere legger det baklengs på siden, liksom bak på rumpestumpen mens dere flyr gjennom lufta, til vanlig. Skal vi prøve? Ok, bli med bort her. Så skal vi hente noe greier. Skal vi få... det noen som har lyst på noen sånne ting fra oss, eller? Det det? Det det, ja? Ja, men så hyggelig. Da skal vi ta med litt grann her sånn. Give it to the guys, så skal vi se. Jeg kan jo kanskje... Disse treplatene litt tunge, så det mulig at jeg bør ta. Maybe I take a couple of these? Ok, nå bli med ut her, så skal vi se om ikke vi kan få gjort litt rann. Hvem var det som hadde lyst på igjen? Det noen som har lyst på? Ja, dere får bare begynne å kaste på. Jeg har 2 treplater, og har lyst på treplate da.
Freestyle.
En til deg. Og komme med flere da. Ok. Få se hvor langt dere er. Og så gå og kaste litt oppover der også. Der glemmer jeg. Åh, jeg fikk flere. Jeg må bare litt bortover. Vi har hele kvelden på oss. Ok. Her er det en dame som skal gå. Dette her er det som gutta har laget, altså. Sorry. Ja. Hvem er det som har lyst på? Jeg kan ikke kaste den. Du, gidder du gi en dame her? Ja, tunge treplaner. Ok, vi har noen av verdens beste hoppere her, så har dere delt ut alt? Er det tomt da? Er det litt? Caps! Og ball! Har du lyst på det? Ok, det er greit. Ja, selvfølgelig. Tusen takk! En stor applaus da til skihopperne våre som skal gjøre det så bra i OL om ca. 90 dager. Tusen takk skal dere ha, gutter, for at dere vil hjelpe til. Takk for det. Ja, vi har masse mer å gi bort underveis i kveld, så ikke tenk på det. Vi skal bli kvitt alt sammen i dag, så traileren blir litt lettere i morgen. Vi er ferdig med 2 øvelser, og vi gleder oss til den 3. øvelsen om ikke veldig mange sekunder. Men her er de altså, skigutta våre. Få høre på skigutta! Ja, det er vakkert. Tusen takk skal dere ha, boys.
All right, there's our start list now for our standing block chop. Again, you'll see the 2 blocks in the mid-stage there, and our axemen, our athletes, will have to cut a block off that with one of these fantastic axes that they have. These things are polished to a mirror finish, and they have a very, very sharp edge, and they don't come cheap either. They're between $500 and $800 for these things.
Exactly. A very specialized piece of equipment used to destroy this block of wood in mere seconds. Yeah, costing anywhere from $500 to $800 American, anywhere from 300 to 600, 700 euros.
At the standing block, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 30 centimeters has to be cut through from both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise for a good result. The axe. The axe, made from special steel, is hand-sanded with an angle from 13 to a maximum of 16 degrees, weighs about 3 kilos, and is about 80 centimeters long. It's custom built especially for the contests. The blade is so sharp that shaving with it wouldn't be a problem. The price of a single contest axe is between 400 and 500 euros.
Da er vi klare for standing block chop, og første utøvere ut på scenen nå er fra Storbritannia, Elgin Pugh, og fra Østerrike, Amin Kugla. Og standing block chop, det er altså, det skal jo da illustrere det man gjør når man går ut i skogen og ser et nydelig juletre som man har lyst til å ta med inn og pynte til jul. Da skal du gjøre omtrent sånn som disse 2 gutta skal gjøre nå, rett og slett hogge det ned.
Well, Sterling, we were watching the guys the other day during the team competition, and I noticed that we didn't see either of these guys really hitting on the standing block chop, so I'm not really sure where it is. But during the qualification round, to seat these guys here, I saw that Elgin Pugh had a pretty good style on the standing block.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, this is about the time where the fatigue starts to stake its claim on these guys. They got to work hard earlier on in the underhand chop, then with the stock saw, and now the standing block chop requires a whole lot of body in there getting everything into these blocks. Armin Kugler in the red on the far side, doing it for Austria. Elgin Pugh struggling to get through that wood. He had a little bit too much on the backside, I think, and both of these guys now trying to find their rhythm, but Armin Kugler gets through it in 27:34, and that style that I was hoping to see from Elgin this time wasn't there, 32:48 for him.
But I don't think either of those guys are going to be exceptionally happy with their cuts. You know, like I said, this wood is a little bit tougher this year, extremely even, which is what we look for in competition wood, but you saw Armin Kugler could have possibly put one or two more hits in the front, and that's what cost him a few extra seconds in the back. You can see the frustration on his face. He knows he might have made a couple of mental errors on there, but still a very good time. We'll get the final word from Judge Andy Hall in just a moment.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding.
All right, as we look at the replay here, you can see Armin Kugler coming in a little bit flat on those down hits, or on the up hits. Beautiful slope on those down hits. When he's going in a little too straight, he's not getting the penetration. And as you see there, not quite halfway through on the front side, and that is why he had so much trouble getting it off here at the end. A good time for this underhand would be under the 30-second range. A little bit later on today, we're going to see Jason Wynyard of New Zealand, the current world record holder, in 12.33 seconds to cut through this 30-centimeter block of wood.
Well, that's accuracy and power combined with a little bit of endurance in this mix.
Ja, da er vi klare for heat nummer 2 I standing block chop. Og vi gleder oss over fra Frankrike, Pierre Pubaret, og fra Norge, Vebjørn Sønsteby.
Now, of course, Vebjørn, your hometown Norwegian boy on stand A, he is the anchor, the standing block cutter for your Norwegian team. The standing block is his forte. He has one of the most beautiful standing block styles that you will see anywhere. So he's going to look to put that in effect and try and pick up some valuable points and move on to that second round.
Okay, gentlemen, timer's ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, both of these guys getting into their blocks right away. Pierre Puy-Barré, a couple of blows down low, a couple up high, and he's looking very good. Vebjørn, no slouch either. Oh, he gets that axe hooked in there as he tries to go around the other side. Pierre Puy-Barré with the advantage at the moment. Vebjørn putting in a little bit too much of those heavy blows. Wow, right off the bat though, 21.91 for Pierre Puy-Barré. And Vebjørn should do it in one more driver, two more here in this case now. Oh my goodness, he's got too much on the backside, and finally the last driver does it in 33.74.
Now as we take a look, but here we've got a yellow flag over on stand B.
Oops.
Pierre Puy-Barré of France. Judge Rich Hallett is going to have a look at the block. Now what possibly could have happened is there was some uncut wood. Now, when he made those first hits, sometimes what can happen is the block can actually split in the upward direction.
Okay, we're going to make a video review on stand B.
All right, now the speculation starts, and as you mentioned, Sterling, it could have been just a little bit of uncut wood there, so let's see what they have to say in our competition control center, and we'll let them do their job in there and just wait for a final decision.
Now we're going to have a look here close up. As he makes that first hit, you're going to see that piece of chip come flying in an upward motion. Okay, they may be looking at a false start, but I think we're going to be okay.
Okay, guys, nice work. Both cuts are good.
Couple of nervous moments up there for Pierre Pouet-Barré as there was an issue with his side on the stand B. And maybe if we get the slow-mos here, I don't know if they're going to come up first or if we're going to go straight up to our stage. I think we're going to go up to our stage for an interview again with Lars and Vebjørn.
Ok, Vebjørn, dette her har jo vært et eventyr og en reise å være her i Håkonshall, og med den formidable støtten. Det er hundretusenvis som sitter og ser på TV, og her står du og svinger øksa. Hvordan har du det?
Nei, helt greit egentlig. Ja.
Fortell litt om Stockså. Kjempetid på den. Der var du helt oppe og snuste på potetplassering.
Ja da, det var en helt grei tid, men det kunne godt være noen hundre eller fremafor, men også hadde jeg litt glatt fra venstrebeinet, så jeg kunne ikke bruke maks krefter her. Det ble litt glatt.
Ok, men vi får nå se hvordan dette går. Alt håp er vel ikke ute her i det?
Nei da, det er fortsatt håp.
Ja, det er håp jeg skulle bare mangle. Vi håper jo at vi kan stå her oppe, du og jeg sammen også etter neste øvelse. Det har vært stas, det.
Da vil jeg håpe på.
Få høre da, folkens! Vi vil ha Vebjørn med oss på scenen mer, vi! Ja, det er det vi vil. Tusen takk, Vebjørn!
All right, so I think hopefully we'll get some slow-mos here. I'm not sure if it's actually going to happen, but our next heat will be coming out onto the stage fairly shortly. I'll give you a little heads up on these guys. Both of them loving the standing block chop, and here we go looking back at this heat.
Yeah, and Vebjørn actually traveled over to Canada and competed in some of our local timber sports shows a year or two ago, and he basically came over and took all our money with that beautiful standing block style. So we're very happy that he's decided to stay in Norway from now on. And there you see that problem he ran into. His driving blow is actually going down into that block, not allowing it to sever and come apart cleanly. As you see our leaderboard for the standing block, Pierre Pouet-Barré coming in first at the current moment with a 21.7, followed by Armand Kugler, Elgin Pugh, and Norway's Vebjørn.
Ok, da er vi klare for heat nummer 3, og vi skal ha fra Polen Arkadiusz Drostek. Sorry, am I saying it wrong now? And then also fra Tyskland, Robert Ebner. Og Arkadiusz, han er altså 9 ganger polsk mester, 9 times Polish champion. Og en fantastisk utøver. Og fra Tsjekkia, Martin Komarek, 5 ganger bronsemedalje, 3 ganger sølvmedalje, en av verdens beste utøvere.
So Robert Ebner has been the standing block man for Team Germany. He's very, very strong in this discipline. He's got a good time in the standing block of 18:38. So let's see if he can keep up with that pace here.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, so far it's blow for blow. It looked like Arkadiusz Drostek had one small problem on the downstroke on his second attempt there. Look at Robert Ebner, though. Wow, he's moved over to the other side of that block incredibly quickly, and he is working to try and get through there as fast as he can. Not going to beat his best time here, but he's looking pretty strong. Arkadiusz Drostek, no slouch either on the other side. Got some good accurate blows, and Robert Ebner comes through in a 24.62. Arkadiusz Drostek in an 30.81.
Now, both of those men with personal bests actually under 20 seconds, so that's not quite what they were looking for in this event. But you saw Robert Ebner put together a technically sound cut, and he took what the wood would allow him to do. And what we mean by that is he took a safe cut. You didn't see him stick too often. That block came off cleanly, and that's what gave him the victory in that round as we wait for the athletes to gather their equipment while the wood crew comes out and cleans up for the next round.
That block came off much like yours did in the Springboard last year, where you had to swing it out and hold your ground not to fall down from 2.5 meters up.
Yeah, that's a distant memory.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
Perfect. Timber on the deck. Robert Ebner moving into second position with that cut. Arcadius coming in at fourth currently. We're going to get a look at that replay hopefully in just a second, and we'll break down some more of the technical aspects of that standing block.
Just a reminder that only the top 8 of the 12 athletes will be moving on to the second round after the points are tabulated here. And there's that one little mistake we saw from Arkadiusz.
Yeah, you saw the block actually bounce him back a little bit. You know, he hit maybe a little bit too near to him, and it just enough to throw his balance off. As we see, Robin Edberg driving that block off beautifully. And that's what has put him in second place at that moment. There you see the raw aggression, and that's what these chopping events take. You can't come into it and be over technically in your mind. You got to go in, and you got to attack.
Da vi klare for et nytt heat her I Standing Block Chop. Og nå kan vi ønske på scenen velkommen til Martin Komarek og Paolo Vicenzi. Jeg var litt rask på avtrekkeren I stad og fortalte om Martin Komarek at han har altså 5 bronsemedaljer og 3 sølvmedaljer, mens Paolo Vicenzi, han italiensk mester fra 2013 til og med I år 2017, og han var også mester I 2011. Og husk, det altså de 8 beste fra de 3 første øvelsene som går videre.
Both of these men with personal best in the 17-second range. We'll see if they can get somewhere near to that.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, Paolo taking an aggressive stand at this, trying to get really fast blows in there. Martin Komarek starting off a little bit slower, but now picking up the pace as he moves over to the other side ahead of Paolo Vicenzi. Paolo got his axe caught in the wood quickly as he tries to move over, and now he's back on it. Martin Komarek. Oh my goodness, a great time for Martin Komarek here at 21.65. Paolo Vicenzi needs to get one more blow to drop that block off the top of the 27.67 after correction.
Martin Komarek unofficially moving into first place with a 21.65. Just 5/100ths of a second ahead of Francis Pierre Poubaret. So we're going to probably let the video judges check in on that, and we'll get an official time shortly. Yeah, you can see the axe is really sticking in those blocks of wood. Every time you get a stick in there, it costs you an extra second. That's why you're seeing these times being so distant from their past personal bests. And, you know, that can be attributed to the time of year the block is cut down, or just the species of timber it is, wood obviously being a natural product. You never know what you're going to get.
Okay, nice work, chaps.
Beautifully with 2 hits, nice and free, and he's going to be happy with that cut.
Okay, da står jeg her oppe med Tsjekkias Martin Komarek. Martin, how are you feeling?
Good evening, everyone. First thing I would like to say thank you for every people which support me, which helped me with everything, and I feel very good. Positive energy here, so thank you everyone.
And so far for the events you have been doing so far, Martin, has it come up to your excellent standard?
I like it if we can talking after competition, and I will with one beer talk with you long way.
Okay, you want to go backstage now, do you?
Thank you.
Okay, de skal få lov til å gå. For et håndtrykk! For en mann! Martin Komarek!
But there you see that official time now after the judge has been in there. Martin Komarek dropping 6/100ths of a second behind Poubaret. Will that come back to bite him in the end? We'll find out shortly.
Ok, vi er klare for heat nummer 5 på scenen nå. Et kanonhit fra Canada, Mitch Hewitt Og fra Australia, Brad DeLosa. Det er jo veldig moro med sånne utøvere som har gjort det så bra i de store internasjonale mesterskapene år etter år etter år. Så dette her blir en veldig spennende batalje. Brad DeLosa som foreløpig ligger helt øverst på scoreboarden.
Both of these men have spent a lot of time down under. Brad DeLosa, obviously a resident there of Australia. They chop a much firmer block down in Australia, and that's what could give them an advantage going into this event. So we're hoping to get some good times out of both of these guys. Probably not see any personal bests or records broken, but look for these two to jump up to the top of the leaderboard.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
You can see some great style from both of them. Brad DeLosa on the far side and Deck B really getting a nice first set of cuts there. And Mitch Hewitt and Brad DeLosa both moving over to the other side with a frantic pace here on this standing block chop. It is amazing, and it looks like it's going to be really close. And Mitch Hewitt does it in 18.85. Brad DeLosa needs just a couple of extra hits to get it down in 22.31. What a great event there for Mitch Hewitt. Fantastic. And I've been given the slap on the back of the hand from my wife and son at home who are watching online that I have to cheer for the Canadians today. So my loyalties will stay Canuck.
How could you not cheer for the Canadians? Did you see that cut?
I did see that. That was incredible. I like it. I'm there with you.
Lillehammer, did you guys see that cut?
There you go.
You're darn right you did.
Okay, great stuff, guys. Both cuts are good.
Well, a couple of absolute legends pushing themselves there to the limit to get that block off the top there. And what a great job by Mitch Hewitt with an 18.85. He moves to the top of the standings in this discipline. Brad DeLosa in fourth place with a time of 22.06, just behind Martin Komarek and Pierre Puy-Barré in third and second, respectively.
And that's going to be huge going forward. With only one heat left in the standing block, we're going to be eliminating 4 of these competitors very shortly, and then we'll be moving on to the single buck and the springboard. So it's coming down to this last heat. There's a few competitors on the bubble as we see the technician and the aggression that Mitch Hewitt has put into this. Not one single stick, eyes on the prize, driving it home all the way to Canada.
Nice. Right now on the bubble, we have Arkadiusz Drozdek and Elgin Pugh with Matt Kogar and Jason Wynyard about to step on the stage.
Ok, vi klare for det sjette og siste heatet i denne øvelsen, godt folk, og det ikke noen hvem som helst som på vei inn på scenen nå. Fra USA, Matt Kogar, og fra New Zealand, 8 ganger verdensmester, Jason Wynyard!
And of course, Jason Wynyard, the current world record holder in this event at 12.33 seconds. These two titans of timber sports are going to look down to take that leading time down of Mitch Hewitt's 18 seconds. If anybody can do it, it's that man on stand B, Jason Wynyard, 8 times world champion, achieving those victories on the back of his strength in chopping.
Jason currently sitting 6th in the overall standings with 19 points, so depending on what he gets here, he could move up.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, you can see the absolute power of the dominant Jason Wynyard on the background, but Kogar, hey, no slouch. And look at this, both of them moving over to the other side in sync with each other. Matt Kogar throwing bombs at that log right now. Jason Wynyard doing the same on the backside. Oh, and Jason Wynyard knocks the block off in 2014 with Matt bringing it down into 21.77.
And you saw the fist pump by Jason Wynyard. He put forth the strongest cut that he thought he could, and he was still 2 seconds behind Canada's Mitch Hewitt. That just goes to show you how dominant that cut was in the previous round.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
As we look on the replay here, both these men choosing to put a few extra hits in the front, hoping that they've done their homework when they go around the back, driving it off a little early, putting the one up and the one down. Jason Wynyard going for the drive. You'll see the fist bump. He thought he'd done it. Now you'll see the disappointment as he learns that Mitch Hewitt has put one over on him tonight. I'm going to bring that up throughout the night as well.
As you should. Just keep working it.
Oh, you're joking.
All right, so here we go with the discipline ranking for standing block chop. Mitch Hewitt, Jason Wynyard, and Matt Kogar are the top 3 athletes in this one. Then we have Pierre Puy-Barré, Martin Komarek, Brad DeLosa, Robert Ebner, and Armin Kugler among the top 8. Then we go down into 9, 10, 11, and 12. Paolo Vicenzi, Arkadiusz Drozdek, Elgin Pugh, and Vebjorn Sonsteby rounding out the complete group there as we take a look now, hopefully the overall rankings, and then you'll know which guys will be moving on to round number 2. Here we go, overall ranking now. We see Mitch Hewitt on top with that great score from this standing block chop that gives him 31 points. Jason Wynyard, Martin Komarek, among the guys that are up there in the top. We got 2 guys with 27 points, Martin Komarek, Brad DeLosa. Then there's Matt Kogar, Robert Ebner, Pierre Puy-Barré, Arkadiusz Drozdek, and Elgin Pugh, Armin Kugler, Vebjorn Sonsteby, and Paolo Vicenzi. And that list will stop at Arkadiusz Drozdek, who will move on with the top 8 guys to round number 2. So in round number 2, we're going to see the following start list for the single buck. Arkadiusz Drozdek going up against Pierre Puy-Barré, Robert Ebner and Matt Kogar. That should be a good battle. Brad DeLosa, Martin Komarek, and of course Jason Wynyard, who is so incredibly strong up against Mitch Hewitt. And you just sort of groaned here knowing that that's going to be a tough one for Mitch Hewitt to battle out in heat number 4 here.
Well, it's actually going to be a really tough one for Jason Wynyard. Mitch Hewitt, actually the reigning Western Canadian single saw champion. He's picked it up quite a bit in the last few years. Traditionally, it was one of his weaker events, but he's put a lot of time into that over the last few years, and I think his time's going to surprise a lot of people.
All right, there you see, out of round 2, the best 6 will advance
The
to
single
round
buck.
number 3, and round number 3
The single
is going
buck is a one-man saw about 2 meters long. With this, the athletes have to cut off a complete disc from a 46-centimeter thick wooden block. The perfect interplay between rhythm and strength is the key to success. Single buck. The about 2 meter long one-man saw used for the discipline single buck is especially designed for competitive sport. The metal is cut with a laser. The 10-centimeter long teeth are hand sharpened. The saw weighs about 5 kilos. Its basic price lies at a minimum of 1,500 euros.
Ok, kjære venner, jeg har bare lyst til å nevne stillingen så langt etter 3 øvelser, altså Mitch Hewitt på 31 poeng, rett foran Jason Wynyard med 30, Martin Komarek 27, og dessverre Vebjørn blir altså da ikke med videre inn i neste runde. Det er 4 utøvere som må gi seg, men jeg vet han sitter bak der. Han sitter bak der nå. La oss sende ham en god applaus inn i denne opplevelsen han har hatt her på Lillehammer, folkens. Det fortjener du, Vebjørn! Ja, det er vakkert. Ja, jeg har jo noen... I think you need to help me. Ok, vi har noen fine... Oh, hei! Dette er jo så gøy! Woohoo! Nydelige sittendelag! Ja, dette er ikke treplater, det bare ser sånn ut. Der, det var nydelig kast. Der ja, der oppe! Der, ja. Det kommer mer etter hvert, folkens. Det kommer mer. Posen er tom. Der har vi mer. Åh, vi har 2 plater, ja.
All right, Sterling, earlier on, I put you a little bit on the spot there with my points question to you because I misunderstood something that you told me earlier. But now, in this second round, for the single buck and the springboard, the points changed slightly, and we're looking at a different way of adjusting the points and earning points.
Exactly. So we're going to be moving into the second round, and it's what we're going to call a double points round. So with only 8 athletes remaining, the athlete that comes in first place is going to garner 16 points instead of a normal 8. Second place, gaining 14, 12, 10, 8.
Da er vi klare for, sorry guys, vi er klare for single buck, and welcome on stage, Arkadiusz Drozdek and Pierre Bubaré!
All right, now the single buck, these guys are going to be sawing through 18 inches or 46 centimeters of white pine. Using that long crosscut saw, they're allowed to set in their own saw with a radius over the top. The only other person allowed on stage is their assistant that you'll see with the black pinion. Now what that guy does, he's known as the wedger. He's allowed to spray a lubricant onto the saw on one side of the saw. At the same time, he's allowed to apply a wedge into that cut as the sawyer continues down the cut. And what that's going to do is remove friction from the saw and allow them to more easily process down to the bottom. So both of these men, very strong single sawyers. We should be looking at some low times here.
These are also two very tall gentlemen, so they can use that length that they have in their leg and their upper body to really get a long stroke, because it's not so much about power as it is combining power with a good flow and not too much pressure.
Exactly. Power always helps, but this event really comes down to technique. And you'll watch on stand B from France, Pierre Bubaré. He's got a current personal best of 11.5 seconds. And he's going to be hoping to put up a time close to that right now.
All right.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, thankfully, these guys don't have to cut 2 discs here. And already Pierre Bubaré had a bit of a stick with his saw. And it looks like, wow, great run from Arkadiusz Drozdek there. Look how pumped up he is with a time of 12.45. Pierre Bubaré, by virtue of bowing that saw so heavily and getting stuck there, had a time of 14.58. So Arkadiusz Drozdek with a great time here.
Yeah, that hang up by Pierre Bubaré on stand B really cost him a couple seconds there. Where on stand 1, Arkadiusz of Poland put together a technically beautiful cut. And you saw the emotion, the fist pump. He knew he went out there and he did his job. He did what he had to do. And he's looking to move on to that final round and try and get onto the podium here today.
Okay, great work, guys. Both cuts are good.
There you see the big smile on Arkadiusz' face as he walks to the back. That's that momentum he needed there, as we see a good clean start, but then you're going to see Pierre hang up here. A little bit too much lift on that saw. As he pulled back, he lifted that handle up in the air, which caused the teeth on the saw to hang up on the edge of the wood. And, you know, that's unfortunately what cost him the victory and could cause him a trip into that hot saw final today. Actually, 2 hang-ups. You see that at the end there. So it would have been, exactly, that's all it takes to throw you off. Where you see the concentration on the Polish athlete's face.
And boy, do you ever need to have power, control, and flow in there. I mean, the rhythm plays such a huge role. but also just knowing when to apply that pressure and when to ease off a little bit.
That's exactly what it is. These guys are trying to keep every single tooth of that saw on the wood. Arcadius did it perfectly, and a lot of people get hung up at the bottom, as you saw Pierre on stand B do, whereas Arcadius came off nice and smooth, and that's what gave him the victory and earned him that fist pump.
And he looks, I mean, I mentioned this yesterday as well, but he looks very fit this year. I mean, he's lost a few kilos.
He is. He's trimmed down, and he's ready to take on the world.
Vi klare for heat nummer 2, og det fra Tyskland Robert Ebner, og fra the US of A, Matt Cogar. Matt som altså 5 ganger amerikansk mester, og tysker Robert Ebner 5 ganger tysk mester. Han har også plassert seg høyt opp I verdensmesterskapet tidligere år, så det blir en spennende batalje dette her, og back to you.
Matt Kogar's got a good teacher in this one with Arden Kogar. He is very strong in this discipline. Robert Ebner, we haven't seen him so much. I mean, you know, during the qualification round, looked okay, but I'm not really sure where he stands as far as this single buck is concerned. Maybe you can jump in there on that one a little bit.
Yeah, both of these men, extremely talented sawyers. Don't be surprised if we see that leading time get taken down in this heat. You know, Robert Ebner with a current personal best of 11.62. Matt Coker's here at the World Championships, only a 13.9, but in other competitions around the world, I've seen him cut down in the 11s and 12s, and you know, he knows he's sitting in a good position, and he wants to start making a charge onto that podium. He was, he pulled up, I believe, 3rd last year with the bronze medal, and he's looking to improve on that. He wants to bring home the USA's first World Championship gold medal since 2005.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, a bit of a tentative start by Robert Ebner, but gets into the flow very quickly. Meanwhile, Matt Kogar on deck B is looking very strong. Robert Ebner and Matt Kogar. Oh, Matt Kogar gets a hang up, and Robert Ebner's got a little piece of chip left as he broke that cookie off. That's going to cost him big time, and the advantage definitely goes to Matt Kogar here with a 13.27. And because of that broken disc and having to cut off that last little bit of wood, it's a 15.38 for Robert Ebner. He's going to be disappointed with that.
And that is a single bucker's nightmare. You get down there and you just want it so bad. You put every ounce of energy in driving that off, and that wood very brittle. So as you see that yellow flag come out there, the judges are going to have a little review, and we're going to get some things sorted out. So while you see an incomplete disc on A, the investigation is actually on Matt Kogar stand B's.
It's going to be interesting to see what this is all about.
Okay, we're going to make a video check on stand B.
And I think the word is that they're checking the start of this discipline.
Now, of course, yeah, these men, when they're getting off to a good start here, every millisecond counts, so they're trying to time that start as perfectly as they can. The judges are going to have a look over that. Matt Kogar seems to think it's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
I seem to agree.
Okay, we made a video check on the start of stand B, and both cuts are good.
Sigh of relief by Matt Kogar. He takes this one down. A 13.27 is his time, and that has not been made official on our clock here, but I do believe that will stand. And right now, he is up there with Lars. I think we're gonna get the slow-mo reviews first and have a bit of a closer look at what actually happened on both of these cuts. There we go.
Here we go with the slow motion. You saw a good start by both competitors. Matt Kogar running that saw absolutely perfectly. You see every tooth on that block. A new personal best for him at 13.10 at these World Championships. He's got to be extremely happy with that cut. I know he's been working a lot on his single buck over the last year and a half, looking to come back here and take that gold medal. As we see Robert Ebner try to drive that off, and that's the risk you take. And of course, his time does not end until he cuts that last fragment off. So that hang-up cost him a good 3.5, 4 seconds. and possibly a trip to the finals as we see Matt come off at the end there with a beautiful cut.
All right, very nice. And Lars is now up there with Matt Kogar.
Okay, Matt, you're all smiles up here.
Yeah, I was listening to Sterling. Yeah, it was a good cut. And I want to make a big shout out to Team USA bobsled skeleton skiing team. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. And yeah, it was a good run. Yeah.
Before this run, you're in 5th place. You're doing good so far.
Yeah, working up from the bottom there a little bit, but just want to go out and put the best times I can forward, and then move on to see how far I can move on.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you the rest of the evening. Are you enjoying Lillehammer so far?
Oh, I love it. I definitely want to try to make it back every time I can.
Perfect, thank you. Matt Kogar, everyone. Ja, han fornøyd med å være på Lillehammer. Trives her, og hvem gjør ikke det? Ok, vi går altså fra Robert Ebner og Matt Kogar til heat nummer 3. Ta imot på scenen fra Tsjekkia, Martin Komarek, og fra Australia, Brad DeLosa. Brad DeLosa, som er altså verdensmester flere ganger, har vunnet Champions Trophy flere ganger. Han er regnet som en av de aller beste utøverne I hele verden.
Yeah, of course, Brad DeLosa coming off that World Championship win at the Champions Trophy in Hamburg, Germany, back in May. But his single bucking has actually come a really long way. He was unbeaten in the Australian series for nearly 2 years. So he's looking to bring that victory here to our stage today.
Well, what I've seen of Brad DeLosa's single buck while we've been here this weekend is it's incredibly strong. I would say almost as strong, if not stronger, than Jason Wynyard, who we know is such a strong sawyer when it comes to this particular discipline.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's going to have to put up a really good cut. Both these athletes are, because they know that Mitch Hewitt's coming up in the next heat, and they're going to have to pull something out in order to defeat that man in the single buck. We're just going to get the saws flipped over here, let the men get their feet in position. We'll get the judge, Rich Hallett, blowing that whistle shortly. A little bit of spray on that saw. And we'll be off to the races. Both these men with personal best capable of taking the lead.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Couple of quick, very sharp movements at the start, and then both of these guys get into those long draws through the middle of that block, get that cookie off, and oh my goodness, it is a good time for Brad DeLosa at 11:83, 12:13 for Martin Komarek. So close, and both cookies looking good from my perspective here. So I think that's going to be a good heat for both of these gentlemen with a nice time.
And of course, both those times unofficial at this moment, but that does put Brad and Martin in 1st and 2nd place, respectively. Obviously, they're going to have a look over that on the video, confirm those times. Brad seems to be happy with his cut. There's the whistle. Looks like we've got some official times, and we're going to get the final word right now from Judge Andy Hall.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
So very good job by Brad DeLosa and Martin Komarek, 11:56, and officially now 11:92 for Martin Komarek, and both of them sitting top spot in the single buck discipline as we take a look at the slow-mos.
Yeah, we see beautiful cuts put together by both of these seasoned veterans. Martin Komarek, one of the first Europeans to actually take up the sport here, and you know, he's been the Czech champion as long as there's been timber sport. He is timber sports Czech Republic. You know, he's come here year after year, known as the probably the greatest European competitor that there has ever been. Brad DeLosa put together a good time, but will it be good enough to stay ahead of Jason Wynyard and Mitchell Hewitt? As we move into our final heat of the single buck, before we move into the springboard.
Vi gjør oss klare for det fjerde og siste heatet i denne øvelsen. Og de ligger som nummer 1 og 2 på listen. Number 1 and number 2 so far. From Canada, Mitch Hewitt. And from the New Zealand, Jason Wynyard.
Jason Wynyard with an absolutely blistering time in single buck, 9:40. I'm reading on the sheet here. I mean, if he can get even close to that, he'll be topping out on this one. And this is what we've seen from Jason Wynyard over the past. You know, he doesn't start incredibly strong, for instance, in the underhand chop or the standing block chop, but then he comes on in the back end with just an amazing amount of power and grace to take on, you know, as we've seen, 8 world championship titles. And the question is, can he do it again?
Yeah, Jason Wynyard has just been kept in consistency for the last 20 years in this sport, and an extremely difficult man to beat. He does not make mistakes. You know, he's out there, he's calm, collected, he knows what he has to do. But Mitchell Hewitt is also the same competitor. They've been around this sport so long, nerves are no longer a factor. They just go out there, it's the same cut they've done in training 100 times. They just know they have to go out there and do their job. And at the end of the day, that's why they are both up there as champions of their respective countries.
Marcel Dupuis up on stage with Mitch Hewitt as his wedger and oiler. That sounds kind of funny.
Yeah, Marcel Dupuis, internationally known as probably the best wedger there's ever been.
The best international wedger there is. All right, here we go.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, keep a close eye on the flow of Jason Wynyard here. He's just cutting through that log like it is butter, and that time is going to be incredibly good for Wynyard. 10:47. Oh my goodness. Mitch Hewitt still working to get through the bottom of that log, and he gets through it in 18:79. He's not going to be happy with that, and that was just incredible from Jason Wynyard. A 10:47, a full 1 second and 10 or 900ths of a second faster than our next fastest time, Brad DeLosa, and we see how strong those two guys are in this discipline.
And you know, the 4 guys behind Jason Wynyard on that leaderboard all posted their personal best here at the World Championships, and that wasn't even a personal best for Jason. He still came out on top in this event.
Okay, excellent work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
Yeah, this doesn't mean the end for Mitch Hewitt, though, not by a long shot. As we're going to take a look back here. He is still in the game, and you can see here getting a lot of support.
Yeah, where you can see the difference, you can see the rocking motion that's happening in Mitchell Hewitt's saw. When we're going to pan over to Jason Wynyard's dead level, every tooth on there, and you just look at the chips spewing out of that single buck cut.
Yeah, I mean, he's so practiced and so consistent in this particular discipline. I don't think there's anybody that can really hold a candle to Jason Wynyard. And meanwhile, Lars is with Mitch Hewitt up on the decision zone.
Oh, okay, Mitch Hewitt. So far, so good, yeah?
Yeah, going along pretty smooth. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, you were ahead before this event, and obviously you had that nasty New Zealander next to you.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, he's like a machine, but you were not far behind.
Yeah, no, half a block.
but you're still in the high of the positioning so far, so you're doing great, Mitch.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy where I'm sitting, and things are going the way I want it. So yeah, keep it going.
And what do you think of this place?
That's very good.
What do you think of Mitch? They like you, Mitch. Enjoy the rest of your stay here.
Mitchell Hewitt, of course, a member of the all-interview team since 2001. But Mitch Hewitt knew that's all he needed to do was to get a cut in, because coming up is his event, the Springboard chop. The former world record holder in this event, and it's a spectacle to watch him do this.
Absolutely, you can see them setting up on the stage as we take a look at the results up on our big screen there. Obviously, the results from the single buck with Jason Wynyard well on top of the 10:33. Brad DeLosa and Martin Komarek in 2 and 3. Arkadiusz Drozdik, Matt Kogar, Pierre Puy-Barré, Robert Ebner, and Mitch Hewitt. And I mean, there's not a lot of time in between top and bottom here. I mean, when you think about what you have to do with this big saw, that is really not a lot of time. So This positioning for Mitch Hewitt, he said, you know, it's not really the end of the world. There is still another discipline to go in round number 2, which they're setting up on stage now. That's the springboard. And if we take a look at the overall standings here in the current position everybody's in, Jason Wynyard on top, Brad DeLosa in second, Martin Komarek in third. This is a familiar seating that we've seen in the past, but Mitch Hewitt in fourth place. So he's still more or less in an attack position with a solid discipline coming up.
Yeah, so those few guys at the top are going to be fairly safe because remember, we're going to be taking those top 6 into that hot sauce. So after the springboard, we're going to take the top 6 times through, and those are the only ones that are going to go through into that hot saw event.
All right, well, let's take a little bit of a closer look at what the springboard actually consists of.
The springboard imitates an old lumberjack technique to overcome hard root wood. The athletes cut 2 so-called pockets in a vertically anchored log. With the help of the springboard, they climb to the top in order to chop through a wooden block with an axe from both sides. The axe. The axe, made from special steel, is hand-sanded with an angle from 13 to a maximum of 16 degrees, weighs about 3 kilos, and is about 80 centimeters long. It's custom built especially for the contests. The blade is so sharp that shaving with it wouldn't be a problem. The price of a single contest axe is between 400 and 500 euros.
Well, Sterling, last year, and I know you love talking about this, but last year you dominated this particular discipline that they're setting up here, the springboard. And I remember being very, very excited for you when you got up there. What can we expect to see here, and what's going to make the difference for these guys setting up their springboards and getting up to have a time even close to yours?
Yeah, this is one of the most difficult events to become proficient at. There's just so many things involved with it. Basically, you got to chop a notch in that tree, stick the board in, go up, chop another notch in the tree, get on top, and then essentially you're doing another standing block while standing on a wooden plank 9 feet in the air, 3 meters in the air. Like, it doesn't get any more difficult than that in terms of sports while swinging an 8-pound razor blade. So, but that's why we've got these 8 athletes coming up, because you know, they've proven time and time again that they can take down a victory in this event. So it's anyone's game. There's obviously favorites, but it can go any way.
Now, angle of the board as you set that first and second board in is going to play a key role there. What are we looking for on the angle of the board?
Exactly. When they stick those springboards in, they're going to want them to be as flat as possible, even tipped up slightly. Because when they go in, as the name incurs, springboard, it does bounce a little bit. If you see somebody that maybe puts a few too many hits in or has a miss-hit when putting in a springboard pocket, you'll see their board actually sag down. Now what that does is it kind of eats away at your confidence because you don't have a solid base to be chopping off, and it's going to take valuable seconds off of your overall time, and it's not what you want.
Okay. All right, here come our first pairing for springboard, Arkadiusz Drozdek from Poland and Pierre Puybare from France.
All right, both of these men very proficient springboard cutters. You see them coming out and getting the board set, getting stabilizers put on there. And this is where you see the accuracy come through. You know, a lot of these guys extremely powerful, but that's not enough in this event, and that's why you'll see guys later on like Mitchell Hewitt and guys such as myself who are much, much smaller than these absolute giants you see on stage right now.
I was just going to ask you, being a bit shorter is actually an advantage in this case, and also lighter, of course.
Yeah, it can be. Not in life in general, but it works. It definitely does on a springboard, because I can get on one of those pockets that is much less deep, not as deep as maybe one of these big guys can get on, you know, and that plays as an advantage to the smaller mat, as they can get to the top quicker and with more confidence that that board is going to stay there and be a solid platform for them to chop on.
All right, well, let's see how these two gentlemen do as we get into the second discipline in round 2 here, springboard.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, setting that first pocket, as we heard, is so very critical. An absolutely great pocket by Pierre Pouy-Barré as he got 4 hits in there, I believe, to get that first pocket set. Now he moves up the tree to get that second pocket set and try and get a good angle for his board. Arkadiusz Drozdek just getting his first board in place, but it looks like it's a good solid board. Pierre Pouy-Barré locking in his axe at the top block as he sets his second board and moves up into position number 2. But Arkadiusz Drozdek looking like he's playing a good game of catch-up, has a quick look over to see where Pouy-Barré is, and he starts working on that top block. Now it's going to come down to who can really get the good blows on top there and how that angle is on the backside, as Arkadiusz Drozdek has to do a little cleaning of house to get some of that junk out of the way. Pouy-Barré in the meantime is doing a great job on the front side of his block, and it looks like Arkadiusz's board is slicking down a little bit, maybe taking away some of that confidence. Pouy-Barré on the backside already. It looks like Pouy-Barré might get through in 1 or 2, 3 more drives. Whoa, Pouy-Barré almost comes off the back of his board, and then he finally does it, knocking that block off in 109.21. Drozdek just doing the damnedest he can to get that block off with short little choppy blows at a 119.38 and takes out the track and a light on the way down.
Yeah, you know, and those are still extremely good times considering they're up there on boards that were probably not optimal. You know, like I was saying before, you can see now how a board sloping downwards will prohibit the axeman from chopping powerfully up top.
And the other thing too is, as you mentioned this to me just as they were starting, you know, on the one side they're chopping just fine, but then they have to cross their hands over to the back side because they can't turn around and walk around the log.
Exactly. You're going to see them cut 3/4 of the way through on one side and turn around, and you'll see 2 different styles. One where they switch hands, another one where they keep it the same and actually come down in a slicing motion. It's just down to personal preference and what the athlete is comfortable with as we get the final result here from Judge Andy Hall.
Okay, nice work, guys. Both cuts are good.
As we look at the slow motion here of Pierre putting in a nice 4-hit pocket, but it probably could have used an extra hit or 2, but it's hard when you get to this stage of the game. You know, your adrenaline's pumping, you want to go for it. It looks good, but then you see as he leans on it, it comes down, but he decides to get on it anyways. A very, very risky move, and it also makes it very hard to chop your next board, as we see Arkadiusz, although on one of those sloping boards, putting in a beautiful chop up top. And as we see Pierre trying to drive off and actually has a little bit of a slip here as the axe goes all the way through. Ooh. Lucky that background in gymnastics was able to keep him. You can see the look on his face. He knew what almost happened.
Sweet relief right there. That is what that's called.
As he mutters, "Oh gosh, that was close," to himself in French.
Mon Dieu.
Something like that. All right, coming up in the next heat, we're going to be having Robert Ebner on stand A and Matt Koger on B. And both of these guys capable of putting in cuts under a minute. And that's what they're going to be gunning for.
Well, Pierre Pouy-Barré with a 108.90, currently holding down the 16-point slot. But, you know, unless anybody else doesn't get faster than him, he'll stay there. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, there's still, you know, 6 more guys that are gunning for that fast time up there.
Yeah, of course, those are very good times. But we've got some of the best springboard cutters in the world coming up in our next 3 heats. So, I would be very, very surprised if that time didn't topple in the next 10 minutes here.
All right, well, let's see how it does fare up against our next pairing.
Ja, da gjør vi oss klare for heat nummer 2, og vi introduserer på scenen fra Tyskland, aus Deutschland, Robert Ebner, and from the US of A, Matt Koger. Og springboard, det altså 27 cm i diameter, den øverste de skal kappe. Dette skal jo simulere da at man ikke kapper den nederst, men man opp i stammen, ikke sant? Og her kreves det ikke bare teknikk og balanse, men veldig mye mot også.
Yeah, as we look at some of the personal bests from these two athletes, Robert Ebner over on stand A from Germany with a 48.58. An extremely quick time and would be good enough to take the lead right now. But as we look at Matt Koger, he comes in with a personal best of 38.96. Just 3 seconds off of the world record. And, you know, the block up there, I was out back having a talk with the guys earlier. They're very, very happy with the quality of the wood. And it's very possible that we could see that world record be topped today.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that boils down as we get Robert Ebner and Matt Kogar ready to go in Springboard. Round 2, discipline number 2.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Looks like a good start for both gentlemen. 4-pocket hit for Robert Ebner. Good board by the looks of it as well. Seems to be solid for Matt Kogar, although it looks like it might be slipping a little bit for Matt Kogar. Each stroke he's taken, that board seems to be coming down a bit, but he is not focusing on that at all. Robert Ebner now moving up to the top as he's got himself set with a really good-looking board on that top block, and he starts working away. Matt Kogar still trying to place that second board and find himself a good, stable position to work from. Looks like he's got it now. He's going to move up top, and Robert Ebner with a definite advantage. And you can see as he works on that block at the top, the board seems to be just sagging and moving down ever so slightly. Matt Kogar, meanwhile, he's got a really solid board up there, so it looks like he's got a more confident position to work from, and this could be the difference maker for him to get through quicker than Robert Ebner in this case. Let's see if he can, in fact, do that. Ebner's good on the wood up there as he gets most of the way through, but Matt Kogar already on the backside of his block, and he knocks it down in 106.94. Ebner turns around and starts using that slicing motion down to try and get that block off. Wow, what an unfortunate turn of events for Robert Ebner, who was up top so much quicker, but just didn't have it, and gets a 119.39. Matt Kogar with the fastest time so far.
Yeah, both those guys going through a couple of speed bumps in that springboard. Matt Kogar looked like he had what he thought was going to be a great first pocket and 4 hits, put it in, and it just didn't seem to hold. It's possible that maybe there was a little chip in there. He didn't get the board right to the back of the hole. It can be any number of things, and so you saw him take an extreme long amount of time to get that top board in. But once he got up there, you saw his power come through.
You can see Robert Ebner looking at the wood. It looks like he's got a few knots in there or something. I don't know, I can't tell.
Yeah, a lot of times the wood can contribute to somebody not having as good a chop as they would like.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
Well, definitely a disappointing finish for Robert Ebner and Matt Kogar, having what you could call pretty much a comeback race in that one. That was just a fantastic set of hits for him on top there as we take a look at the slow-mo.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw in the slow motion in the background, Matt Kogar on stand B with his first hit. The block actually slapped down. The tree actually split with that first hit. So when he put that board in, there was nothing to support it. And that's why that board sagged down. And now that's something that happens, unfortunately. And Robert Ebner drawing a little bit of a tough block there. And the chips, you can see it's stringy. There's lots of little fibers hanging out on that block. And that's what makes it really tough to get the chips to come out.
Now, these guys can't necessarily pick the blocks. It's a lottery of what blocks they're going to get, but they usually come out of the same cord of wood that are on the top of the two competition blocks here, correct?
Exactly. When they have the athletes meeting first thing in the morning to discuss all the rules, there's actually what they call a wood draw. Every athlete goes up and draws a number out of the hat, and that's how it's decided who is going to get which block. Now, all the blocks generally for one event will be from one tree or a very close tree. And that's about as even as you're going to get this, right? And so it just comes down to the luck of the draw as we see the times up there right now. Even with those struggles on the boarding, Matt Koger still putting up a 106.64, good enough to take the first place right now. But we've still got 2 more heats to go with extremely talented springboard cutters.
Yeah, Brad DeLosa, Martin Komarek coming up, as well as Jason Wynyard against Mitch Hewitt.
Yeah, look for all. It's possible that all 4 of these guys could put times in faster than that 106.64 by Matt Koger. So we're going to see what happens here as the wood crew does an amazing job of coming in very quickly, almost like a NASCAR pit crew.
Yeah, or Formula One if you're a European side of things and you prefer the cars with wings.
Exactly right, and these guys are even known to have races coming on stage.
They do. We might even have a race a little bit later on in the evening between our 2 pit crews on stage to see who can get the side A or side B done faster. So we'll let you know if that happens out there, but let's...
I'm sure we can encourage that.
We're going to go over to Lars now, who's stage middle, and see what he's got to say.
Ok, takk skal dere ha, gutter. Jeg synes vi skal gi en applaus til disse som holder på her nå. Har dere sett hvor hardt de jobber? Er de ikke flinke? Ja, det er imponerende. Det er imponerende hvordan de jobber og rydder scenen og fikser og ordner etter hvert. Men vi må jo bare si at fra mitt ståsted nå så står jeg og ser på verdens beste publikum. 3000 som vifter med flagg, som skriker, som roper, som heier, som klapper. Få se det nå, få se det nå. Nå har vi rettet kameraene på dere. Dere er på TV overalt i hele verden akkurat nå. Ja. Og hilse hjem til mormor også. I det hele tatt ha det herlig. Ja, det er vakkert. Det er veldig vakkert. For 2 år siden så var ordfører Johnsen her på Lillehammer på en liten utenlandstur, og da dro han til Stuttgart for å sørge for at VM kom hit til Lillehammer. Nå er tiden kommet for å sende denne stafettpinnen videre. So please welcome on stage STIHL Board Member of Research and Development, Wolfgang Zahn, and the Lord Mayor of Liverpool Councillor, Mr. Malcolm Kennedy. In the middle then, I guess, huh? Mr. Zahn, you must please explain what is it you're carrying with you?
First of all, let me explain that it was so great here. We have a fantastic audience, and I would think it would be nothing without that audience.
It looks good from here, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure. and you know what I really like very much is, first of all, Lillehammer, but also Norway is a wonderful country, and today we were out and we were seeing a little bit the trees and the Norwegian wood, and as Norwegian Wood is one of my favorite songs, and it comes from the Beatles. The Beatles come from Liverpool. I pass it over for next year to Liverpool.
That means that the next STIHL World Championships in timber sports will be in Liverpool. Okay, the Lord Mayor of Liverpool Councillor, Mr. Malcolm Kennedy. Well, what do you think of Norway so far?
Well, Norway is just incredible. I've really enjoyed the stay here at Lillehammer. Amazing, absolutely amazing energy. I think Liverpool's up to the task, though, of trying to match the energy that you've got here, because Liverpool is the most exciting city in England. And can I just say, great to see those Welsh flags and Union Jacks waving over there. Absolutely marvellous. But thank you, Norway, and thank you, Lillehammer, in particular, because you have been absolutely wonderful. This is a great place, and it's been a privilege to be with you during these championships.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm Kennedy and Mr. Wolfgang Zahn. Da vet vi at stafettpinnen sendt videre. Neste gang det et verdensmesterskap, så det I Liverpool. Thank you very much.
Well, that's exciting. Going to Liverpool next year, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what kind of interesting world records may or may not be broken there, as we have a new location for the STIHL Timbersports World Championship in 2018. But before that happens, we have to get through this World Championship series here. And boy, they are looking very, very interesting as we get into the next two pairings.
Okay. We are preparing on stage Mr. Brad DeLoza and Mr. Martin Komarek. Brad DeLoza from Australia, Martin Komarek from the Czech Republic.
Both of these men with personal bests in this event at 42 seconds. So either one of those guys pulls out one of these cuts right now, it would be good enough to take the lead.
It's still hard for me to imagine a person that weighs 100 kilos or even 95 kilos standing on that board and being able to swing that axe with enough velocity to be able to cut the block off the top and have the confidence to be able to stand there 2.5 to 3 meters off the ground, knowing that they've more or less got a deadly weapon in their hand. I mean, that's just incredible.
Yeah, well, a lot of us aren't really all there, if you know what I mean. And a lot of times that helps in an event like this to be able to switch that off and just go into attack mode. And,
yes. Sort of like being a hockey goalie. Yeah, shoot rubber bullets at me. Why not?
Or a football goalkeeper.
Or that.
That's for that F1 comment a little while ago.
We'll be dropping the gloves after the show here.
Exactly. And you're going to be seeing two of the technicians in this sport, Brad DeLoza and Martin Komarek. Martin Komarek has won titles overseas as well, down in New Zealand, Australia. He's been over to Canada. He's been over to the States. He's been all around the world. He's the greatest European competitor, I believe, that there's ever been, and definitely one of the best springboarders that the sport has ever seen.
All right, well, excited to see this matchup between Australia and the Czech Republic.
Yeah, as we see him taking a few practice swings, getting in their last little bit of preparation here, a couple of stretches, making sure those boards are exactly where they want them to be. Like I said before, when it comes down to a game of inches, you'll see these guys shift everything just minutely, and sometimes that can make all the difference.
Well, you mentioned very often that it's as much about mental preparation as it is about physical preparation, and then a big mental part is having that muscle memory and really being able to place your axe where you want it to go.
Yeah, and both these guys very natural axemen, and that's what's allowed them to be so successful in this event.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, here we go. First, pockets being set by both of these guys. Wow, great. Look at that. Right on top of each other. 4-hit pocket by both Martin Komarek and Brad DeLoza. Moving up to pocket number 2. And Brad DeLoza, a slight advantage as he gets that second board in place. Looks solid. Martin Komarek, however, starts his top block a little bit sooner than Brad DeLoza did as he gets those big chunks falling down onto the ground. What a great pace that Martin Komarek has over there. And you were not kidding, Sterling, when you said he's an absolute technician. Brad DeLoza still trying to get through that first 3/4 of the block. Martin Komarek switching his stance. Oh, and he bounces the axe really quickly. That might cost him, but he looks like he's got it loose at the top. And Martin Komarek in a 45.06. Wow, what an incredible time today. And now Brad DeLoza drops it at 50.88. That was amazing from Martin Komarek, though. That technician comment just absolutely on point right there.
And that was exactly what he needed to do. He did his job at the exact right time, and that should be enough to power him through into our hot saw final. Obviously, the judges are going to have a little look over everything, make sure there's no disqualifications or rule infractions. As we see the guys coming down safely, getting their boards and their gear together. And both of those guys put together amazing cuts, you know. They both climbed up at the same time, both had great boards, and then you just saw that Martin Komarek was able to power through that block. His axe was just absolutely eating the wood.
He had a good block up there, and his springboard is, oh man, it was really close to his best time of 42.69. He had 45.08, so not that far off his personal best pace. And that is a fantastic turnout for Martin Komarek. And let's not forget, only the top 6 athletes of these 8 will move on to the hot saw final, which will determine our world champion.
Okay, nice work, chaps. Both cuts are good.
All right, as we see on the slow motion replay, synchronized chopping, both with 4 hit holes. Martin Komarek just a little bit quicker in his movements. You see Brad DeLosa going in for that top board, and that is a great board, and that's what you want when you get up on top there. Both guys into the block just about the same time. Both men. You maybe see Martin Komarek when he's swinging, you see him on the back side there. He wanted that. You see the look on his face and the feeling that he has when that block comes off. He was very happy with that time. Absolutely attacked backside of that block.
And the aforementioned fist pump that his signature move has up there.
Yeah, I tried to make the fist pump popular in Canada, and I had it going for a while, but then I started losing all the time.
So I got to stop doing that.
Well, I started fist pumping anyways, but it got kind of weird. So
I got 4th place. Yeah, fist pump. All right, so there you see so far the discipline ranking. Martin Komarek and Brad DeLosa with blistering times up there with a 44.80 and a 50.66. Matt Kogar and Pierre Pouillet-Barré in 3rd and 4th positions with a 106.64 and a 108.90 respectively, and Arkadiusz Drozdik with a 119.12 and Robert Ebner with a 119.14. 2 athletes still to come, and you did mention that Mitchell has this discipline in the back of his head as being his favorite. So previous world record holder before you might do something well here.
yeah, Mitchell Hewitt, arguably the best springboard cutter that the world has ever seen. You'll see little imprints of things that Mitch does all around the sport. Most of the athletes that you'll see up on stage actually have springboards built by Mitch Hewitt.
Are you kidding?
Well, you want to go to the best to get with the best gear, right? And you know, he's taught numerous people, even me personally. Like, there is no way that I would have accomplished that world record last year if I hadn't have been trying to chase down Mitch Hewitt the last 10 years. Having somebody like that, you know, it motivates you to keep going, and that's why you see a lot of these top athletes here. They've been chasing other guys in their country, and you know, competition just breeds competition. That's why you see these guys coming out here and having such successful days.
Well, it's what we've been saying all weekend long about the guys playing up to the level of the guy that's maybe a little bit better than them in a particular heat or discipline.
Yeah, exactly right. As you see the last 2 guys coming out here, setting up for our final heat of the springboard. And you can actually feel the tension starting to build in the room as we move towards that hot saw event. And you guys are not going to want to leave your seats once those hot saws start to come out. And that is going to determine our next world champion as those thunderous machines take the stage. You'll feel the adrenaline coursing through your veins when those guys come out.
Well, it's one of those events that a lot of people just wait for, and they love it. You know, the saw heads, the gas heads that are out there, they're going to love that hot saw.
Da gjør vi oss klare for det 4. og siste heatet i denne fantastiske disiplinen som heter Springboard. Og vi skal nå få møte to av sportens desidert beste. De har begge tider som omtrent helt like på 38-tallet. Det går så fort. Please welcome on stage from New Zealand, Jason Wynyard, from Canada, Mitch Hewitt.
And as you saw, that personal best time on there for Mitch Hewitt of 38 seconds, and that was the former world record. And you know that he's going to be looking to take that back, and he's got all the tools to do it today, so we may see another world record in our midst. I mean, I hope not, but, you know. Kind of sucks fading into obscurity, to be honest.
What is it they say? Better to burn out than fade away?
Yeah, my friend Neil said that.
Jeg kan jo bare si, I just have to shoot in there, Sterling, that verdensrekordholderen sitter her I salen og kommentator. Han har verdensrekorden I springboard. Sterling.
And yet, here I sit off the stage. I love you guys too. Throw money. Worth a shot.
Why not?
All right, looks like we're getting close here to our final heat. Jason Wynyard of New Zealand on stand A, 8-time world champion, taking on Mitchell Hewitt of Canada over on stand B. Both athletes looking to move on to that final 6 in the hot saw round.
So if Mitch gets the fast time today, he could potentially jump up to 49 points, which would definitely get him into the hot saw final, and then it's up to man and machine dominating.
Exactly, and that's when it all comes down to the final event.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready.
Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, the key here, get that first pocket set and move your way up quickly. Jason Wynyard and Hewitt both getting quickly up onto the board, but Mitchell Hewitt really fast onto that first position, and now super quick onto the second position. Nary a second guess by Mitch Hewitt as he starts working from the very end of that springboard on that top block. And there is that skill that you were talking about, Sterling. Absolutely phenomenal speed by Mitch Hewitt up on top there. Not quite at 30 seconds as he now moves over to the other side. Let's see if he can get himself a good world record. No, ain't gonna happen today, but boy, he is pretty quick up there. Let's see, he's got it down at 38.98. Oh yes, that is a killer block up there. Jason Wynyard staying steady, moving to the other side now. Still working, struggling to get that axe out. His board is sagging quite a bit there. This time is going to be a lot slower than he expected with a 57.64. So Mitch Hewitt absolutely destroying the previous times here from Martin Komarek and Brad DeLosa with a 38.98 and takes the top spot in the springboard. Of course, we're keeping this all unofficial until our judges give the thumbs up that says both cuts are good. And we'll see when Andy Hall comes up onto the decision stage and lets us know.
Yeah, that was actually an uncharacteristically bad board for Jason Wynyard. Last year in Stuttgart, Germany at the World Championships, we actually saw Jason cut a 38-second springboard. So I'm not quite sure what went wrong. We might be able to see it in the slow motion replay as we see Team Canada cheering on their champion, Mitch Hewitt. And we'll head over to the decision zone for the last word from Judge Andy Hall.
Okay, excellent stuff, chaps. Both cuts are good.
Well, there we go. It's official. And with that, Mitch Hewitt does earn the 49 points that gets him into 4th position. Jason Wynyard tops up the overall standings at the moment with 56. Martin Komarek sitting in 2nd with 53. Brad DeLosa in 3rd with 53. Tied, actually, with Martin Komarek. Mitchell Hewitt in 49th. And Matt Kogar in 5th with 40. And Pierre Puy-Barré
at this point, I mean, we're waiting on the official call here, but at this point, Pierre Puy-Barré will be the other athlete moving on to the hot saw to determine who will be our world champion.
And you know it's coming down to that time as you see that trophy make its way onto our stage in the decision zone. You know, backstage, this is a tough time. You know, as you see the wood being wheeled out for this hot saw event, we're going to get the guys out one at a time to determine our champion. And very, very shortly, you are going to hear those monsters fire up backstage as the guys are allowed to warm up their hot saws.
All right, just getting the final official time here, Mitch Hewitt. It is 38.66. Martin Komarek is 44.80. Brad DeLosa 50.66. Jason Wynyard with a 57.45.
As we look at the slow motion replay here, a good 4-hit pocket by Jason Wynyard. Probably not as deep as he would like it to be, but he's going to get on it anyways. Beautiful pocket. We're going to see what happened on that top one possibly. A little bit too much upslope is exactly what happened on that pocket. 4 hits, he was out of wood, so he jammed it in. But you're going to see that board come down and rest very low. And what that's going to do is allow it to peel back out of the tree. And that's why you saw that board start to sag, as Mitch Hewitt drove that block off absolutely perfect on the back.
Ok, gutter, jeg skal bare ta raskt stillingen her nå. Det som skjer nå jo selvfølgelig Formel 1-øvelsen etter hvert. Hot saw. Men bare nevne da raskt at stillingen nå etter 5 av 6 øvelser at 8 ganger verdensmester Jason Wynyard leder med 56 poeng foran tsjekkiske Martin Komarek og fra Australia Brad DeLosa. Dette blir veldig spennende, folkens.
Right, something else that we should also indicate here is that trophy that's sitting up there on the decision stage also indicates where our hot seat is and what will happen during the hot saw. We will have the fastest athlete or the athlete with the most points standing there on that hot seat area. Now we see the overall rankings here. As we mentioned, Jason Wynyard with 56 points on top. That doesn't mean he's won yet, though. There's a few guys that are still going to be battling hard to try and get there. Martin Komarek, Brad DeLosa, Mitch Hewitt, Matt Kogar, and Pierre Puy-Barré will also be in the mix with the hot saw.
Ok, Sterling and Troy.
Yes.
Kan vi få litt hjelp av Sterling, som har verdensrekorden i springboard, og kommentator Troy? Det vel noen som har lyst på litt grann, for det noen som har lyst på noe greier her? Få se da! Hender I været, flagg alt sammen!
Three complete discs from a 46cm thick wooden block. Jumping the start or cutting over the line will result in a disqualification. The hot saw.
Her noen capser!
The tuned chainsaw has a single-cylinder 2-stroke engine with up to 80 horsepower. The engine is taken, for example, from snowmobiles or high-performance motorcycles. The tuned, custom-built models are solely used for the sports competitions. The hot saw weighs around 30 kilos, and it moves its chain with a speed of around 240 kilometers an hour. The basic investment, at least €5,000.
Ok, få høre da. Det tomt? Ok, det noe snø om nettet? Ok, da var det slutt. Good throw, Sterling. There you go. Verdensmesteren I Springboard, Sterling Hart, her kaster ut luer og det som bedre Way to go. kjære venner, vi har jo noe særdeles spektakulært foran oss nå, nemlig Hansa. 50-70 hestekrefter er mye mer enn jeg har på motorsykkelen min. Og hastigheter opp i 250 km i timen. Dette er spesialtrimmede, blodtrimma motorsager. Og de skal altså kappe 3 små cookies. Og det går så fort, og det bråker så mye. Jeg håper dere har ting å putte i hjørnet, ellers må dere stappe fingrene inn, altså. Ok, nå er det 1 og 1 på scenen. Er vi klare for å ta imot fra Frankrike? Pierre Pubaret Hansa!
All right, as the French champion makes his way out onto stage, we're going to see these athletes come out one at a time, starting with 6th place currently, which is Pierre Pubaret of France, moving into Matt Coger, Mitch Hewitt, Brad DeLosa, Martin Komarak, and finishing with Jason Wynyard. And at the end of that, we are going to crown the 2017 STIHL TIMBERSPORTS World Champion. So we're going to give Pierre 60 seconds to warm up that hot saw, at which point he will have to have his hands on the wood. Judge Andy Hull will fire that starting gun, and we'll make some noise and have some fun.
Sterling, something else that we should also mention is that the hot saw has a detachable pull starts, and it is also held in place by a leash so that the actual pull start doesn't get lost. Now, that's the difficulty sometimes with this particular discipline is getting things started.
Timer's ready, competitor ready. 60 seconds to warm up your saw.
So there's that wrap that we like so much, and now he'll re-wrap that start cord, and that is, as I was mentioning, the critical point to get that saw started and make sure it stays hot.
"30 seconds.
All right, look for times to be around 10 seconds. The really fast times are 6 and 5 seconds. Let's see how Pierre does here.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
All right, Pierre's got a good start. A little bit of a delay getting in there. Oh my God, that was loud. And it was good and fast. 7:24 underneath the 10-second mark. How do you like that saw, folks? You need one of those for home, huh? Come on.
What looked like 3 very good discs, a clean start. We're going to let the judges have a little look over the block there.
Well, I saw a nod from Rich Hallett, so let's see.
Okay, the cut is good.
Okay, so we have 3 good discs there. Now let's explain the situation, because with this particular saw, the weight plays a key role as well. The thing is 30 kilos, so you're dealing with the weight of it. You're also dealing with the fact that there's a ton of power traveling through that chain, and you've got to get those really accurate cuts. Now, Pierre Pubaret will be on the hot seat. Or not.
The hot seat will be reserved for the whoever has come up to be the champion at this point. So Pubaret, even with his cut, if he was to have the winning hot saw cut right now, would not move him into first place.
Ah, there you go.
So there's only a few athletes that are going to come up that actually have a chance to take home the championship trophy at this point.
Guys, let me just try and explain that also to
16 points is what will be needed.
Okay.
As we'll see Matt Coger come onto stage. So if Matt Coger were to best Pierre Pubaret's time currently, he would be tied with Jason Wynyard for first place, and he would be on the hot seat.
Well, Jason Wynyard's in that
very strong position once again.
Yeah, and Jason Wynyard, one of the strongest sawyers there is.
Ok, vi har altså en hot seat, men grunnen til at Pierre Pubaret ikke satte seg, det er at han ikke har nok poeng til å kunne bli mester uansett, mens nestemann ut, Matt Cogar, han kan komme opp på samme poengsum som Jason Wynyard som leder, så han, hvis han får bedre tid enn Pierre Pubaret, vil plassere seg i the hot seat. Så dere vil vite etter hvert hvem det er som er i ledelsen ved at deltakeren står oppe ved det fantastiske trofeet. Okay, back to you.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Well, that's what we were saying, or at least what you were saying. I was talking out my left ear.
There, as we see the slow motion cut, you can see the oil spewing off of that saw, trying to harness all that power. Three discs on the deck for Pierre. He'll be happy with that. That was probably the best cut that he could have put forward. He went for it.
Yeah.
He threw down a good cut. Puts a bit of pressure on those next athletes coming up on stage.
Da kan vi ta vel imot fra USA, Matt Cogar! Han har en fantastisk tid med hotsaw. Han har gjort den på 5 sekunder og 53 hundredeler. Og se på det beistet han tar med seg ut her nå. Hans beste tid altså 5,53 sekunder. Det er omtrent likt med verdensrekorden. Det er bare noen få hundredeler og tideler bak. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Matt Cogar's got a bit of a different looking saw compared to some of the other ones we've seen out there. Can you explain this?
This is actually a newer saw for Matt Cogar. This saw built by Dennis Cahoon and TJ Bexton out of the west coast of the United States. It is one of the most powerful saws in the world right now, but with great power comes great responsibility. You got to, if you want to ride the big bull, you got to hang on a little tighter.
You got a little bit of a Spider-Man reference going on in there.
Okay. Timer's ready. Competitor ready. 60 seconds to warm up your saw.
So the current world record in this event is 5.2 seconds, set last year by Germany's Dirk Braun.
Well, with that beast of a cigar, with that beast of a saw out there, I mean, he should be able to cut through that like butter. But you know, it's again
30 seconds.
Controlling it is the big key to get those 3 clean cookies.
Exactly, but the position that Matt's in right now, currently sitting 6th, he has nothing to lose. So you're about to see one of the most exciting things in timber sports, a hot sawyer go all out. Throttle locked on, going for that world record, and the operator and the saw both have the potential. Let's see what happens.
Hands on the wood, get set.
Oh, 6:04 and a couple of little bobbles in there that probably cost him a second, so he could have had a 5 time. Wow.
Yeah, we were, that would have been near world record time. Now, a few things may have happened. It's possible the saw wasn't properly warmed up, or it's possible that chain was just really hungry and that wood was really soft. Matt's giving me a little nod there that,
Okay, the cut is good.
So look at this again.
So what happened there is Matt gave me a little nod. Sometimes when you get a little overzealous, he just went for it too much and put too much pressure on that saw, and that's what tended to bog it down a little bit as we see our first occupant of the hot seat. That cut putting Matt Cogar 2 points ahead of Jason Wynyard and currently in the lead for your overall champion.
And by the way, they just readjusted his time here. It is a 5:09.4. So under the 6-second mark for Matt Cogar, and it was just that little bobble right there on the up that happened twice. You got a clean down cut there on that last one. That time may stand. I mean, it's a really solid time.
It's incredible that he put forth that time, even with 2 bogs.
Okay, Matt. I was so sure you were going to get a world record there, but something happened in the middle of your race. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, I was definitely going to go for that. It's good enough wood, I think, for it. But yeah, I just got a little hungry on it and tried to put the pressure on it. And yeah, sometimes you got to lighten up just a little bit and let the chain cut, and it'll do its thing. And yeah, it's good.
You went all in.
Hey, you got to go all in at this point in the competition. You just let her fall, and wherever everything happens, that's what happens.
And with that little hiccup, just above 6 seconds. Great time, anyways.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're in the hot seat, Matt.
It's hot.
It's hot, okay. Ja, vi gjør oss klar til neste. Cheers. Okay. Da gjør vi oss klare fra USA til Canada. Ta imot på scenen Mitch Hewitt! Og Mitch Hewitt, han har mye å gå på i hotsaw. Han skal sette ny personlig beste tid i dag, har han sagt, og vi gleder oss til å se Mitch Hewitt, som har gjort en kjempekonkurranse her på Lillehammer. Er det moro, folkens? Ja, dette er helt verst. Okay, guys.
Yeah, some athletes have a preference as to what side of the log they saw. Mitch Hewitt is actually one of the only athletes that you'll see hot saw and stock saw from that side of the log.
But this is a good opportunity for us to see what's actually happening with that drawstring and how that motor starts and what all happens on that side of the saw, which is really nice for the audience. It never gets to actually see that other side of the saw because of the positioning.
Yeah, so what you're seeing now is these athletes are going to go through a checklist in their head. They've got to have the gas turned on, a decompression switch pushed in, which enables them to actually be able to start that saw more easily. And like he was saying before, you'll see that wraparound pull cord. They're going to wind it around the sprocket. When they go to start it, they're going to throw that away. Now, it's very, very important that that cord is hooked down to the ground. And that's that disc, that cookie you see to the right-hand side. And all these things need to come together in order for you to have a qualifying time.
Okay. Timer's ready. Contestant ready. 60 seconds to warm up your saw.
Now, I've seen this exact saw run over and over, time and time again, and Mitch knows exactly how to operate it. A little overzealous on the starter, but that's what happens when you got muscles that big.
He didn't happen to hook it up. He forgot to...
30 seconds!
Board, or?
No, he does not need to when he first starts it. Only when he goes to race, that tether needs to be hooked on to that handle. Good work, Mitch. And Mitch is going to be looking to go all out. He's got nothing to lose here. So he's going to be looking to best Matt Koger's time of 5.95. Oh, it lasted most of the show.
You're right there.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Wow, 8.46, not a 5.95, but that was a pretty solid cut.
Yeah, 3 discs on the deck. That's what he was looking for. And
looked like he cooked some of that wood too.
Ooh, we got a flag on the ground. Judges are going to have a little look at this. The judge is going to have a little look here. It looks like he's seeing to if Mitch Hewitt possibly cut over that line. I mean, he didn't, but you guys can look if you like. I'm biased. Now, they're only allowed 15 centimeters in which to make those 3 cuts, so that's what we're looking at here, and we're going to get the decision from Judge Andy Hall. Mitchell stalling.
Okay, we need to go to the video control center for a video check.
Suspense is killing me.
All right, the unofficial time at the moment, 8:46 for Mitch Hewitt. That puts him in third in the discipline.
Guys, can I just say, det de sjekker nå altså om han har holdt seg innenfor linjen. Han har 15 cm til å kutte disse 3 tynne skivene av stokken. Og hvis han har gått på utsiden av, eller på innsiden av den innerste linjen, så vil han oppleve at han kan bli diskvalifisert eller få en tidsstraff. Det det dommerne sjekker nå på videokameraene som dere ser på storskjermen. Sjekker de, der har de altså kameraer som går så fort at de kan skru ned tiden helt, så de kan se omtrent bilde for bilde og se om alt gått etter boka.
As we see Dr. Jorg there in the video replay center having a word with Judge Rich Hallett. Reading his lips, he's asking where he gets his striped shirts from. You take a left, past the Walmart. Yeah, we don't have Walmart. All right, looks like our judges have reached a decision, potentially.
Hasn't it gone to Target?
All right, here we go.
Okay, so we made a video check for safe handling of the saw, and the cut is good.
Yeah! There you go. Mitch Hewitt's cut counts. An 8:46 has been confirmed as the official time with 12 points. That puts him currently with 61 points.
And that's going to put him in the hot seat.
That should put him in the hot seat temporarily.
Of course, Mitch doesn't really do the hot seat.
He clearly isn't aware of it. I don't need a hot seat.
Never a fan of the tension is Mitch Hewitt. As we see the replay here, Mitch coming up, that forearm shaking with the raw power. The look on his face, glasses bouncing, brow furrowed. Running that saw to perfection. Mitch has made his way back to the hot seat, which unfortunately pushes Matt Coger back down to second place. But a guy like Matt Coger, he's actually one of the most irritating guys to compete against because he's so nice. Like you
just can't get mad at him.
It's really hard to get fired up and motivated. If he beats you, you're like, such a good guy.
Yeah, I like him anyway.
He's just one sorry away from being a Canadian, actually.
Yeah. All right, Lars is making his way up onto the decision zone because he's going to have a quick chat with Mitch Hewitt.
Well, Mitch, there were some nerve-wracking seconds there before the judge came back, yeah?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what they were looking at, but I knew I didn't cut out, so but it was all good.
Yeah, you were pretty calm then, inside at least.
Yeah, I knew it was a legal cut, but I just wasn't. But that also I made me sort of not realize what the hell they were looking at.
You're in the hot seat.
Well, I don't know about that.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, he's in the hot seat here, boys and girls. Mitch Hewitt.
Thank you, Norway.
Lars got a mid-change there. He's showing off a little bit of leg for the audience.
Yeah, you'll notice he actually shaves his legs. It increases the speed with which he can fire those hits on the springboard. So.
Ok, da er vi klare for nummer 4 ut I denne fantastisk dramatiske hotsa, og vi skal til Australia. Ta imot Brad DeLoza. Han har sin beste tid på 6:81 og regner med å slå den I dag. Kanskje vi får en ny verdensrekord av Brad DeLoza. En av tidenes beste I Timbersports. Vunnet flere ganger. Nå får vi se om han klarer å komme seg I the hot seat.
All right, as we were talking about earlier on, a lot of the tension does come at the very beginning of the hot saw to make sure that the thing does start properly for the actual heat itself. Warming it up beforehand, no problem usually, but we did see in the qualification rounds earlier on, several of the saws did not start right off the bat from a couple of the more inexperienced sawyers that were using the hot saw perhaps for the first or, not very often. Obviously we want to see a good start and a fair start for everybody, but that is a risk that does pop up from time to time.
Yeah, that does tend to happen. Sometimes it doesn't start. Sometimes it starts.
And then it goes off.
Or you cut out, or any number of embarrassing things that go on national television for an entire year. Burning into your soul, one cut at a time. Of course, Brad DeLosa, one of the most consistent and efficient hot sawyers to ever come out of Australia.
Now it's just down to equipment.
Okay. Timer's ready. Contestant ready. 60 seconds to warm up your saw.
Now you'll see a little bit of a different saw here. The hot saw is in the last two heats, fabricated by Dennis Cahoon out of Chico, California. Brad DeLosa's saw was actually at one time the fastest hot saw in the world.
30 seconds!
Formerly owned by an American timber sports legend, Harry Burnsworth. And Brad DeLosa has definitely done this saw proud, and he's going to look to put together 3 cuts on his way to a gold medal. We'll see what he can do. Love this song.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Had to go back and get another disc there because he cut through on that third one. That is an unfortunate break for him with a 9.43 time. He's got the slowest time so far, and he could have been around the 6-second mark by the looks of it. He's disappointed. Feel bad for Brad DeLosa because it was looking really solid.
But if that time does stand, if there is 3 complete discs and he has not cut out, that will put him in the hot seat with 62 points. So judges are going to have a look over this cut. Seems to be a bit of a discussion going on between the athlete and the judges. I'm sure we'll get an explanation here shortly.
Okay, the cut is good.
There it is.
Well, there you go. Time counts, and that means those 9 points are going to put him into the top spot, and he will take over the hot seat. So he has now currently 62 points to Mitch Hewitt's 61.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that can happen in the hot saw when you really try to go for it. Sometimes everything doesn't play out. His saw just didn't quite line up right, as we'll see. Slow motion. He had a good start. Hesitated a little bit at the top to get it lined up, but a lot of times that pays off. So he came down. A nice straight first cut. We'll get a better angle here. Beautiful first cut down.
Really wide second cut.
A thick, yeah, and then coming down, just tried to go too thin. But impressively, you see the precision and the operator in Brad DeLosa as he was able to get a third disc in there.
Okay, I'm here with Brad DeLosa. Well, tell us about the hot saw.
Yeah, it was a pretty disappointing run, really. It's been running really well all year, and I've had some good runs with it. And to come out and put a run on like that is, pretty shattering, really.
Well, that was 4 cuts in 9 seconds. That's pretty good, though, if you look at it that way. How about it for Brad, boys and girls? The crowd is with you, Brad.
Yeah, 3 cuts in about 5 or 6 seconds would have been nice, but anyway, unfortunately, that's how it goes, and I'll try and be back next year.
What do you think of the competition so far?
Yeah, it's been a great competition, you know. It's a really good crowd and a great venue, and yeah, thank very much to STIHL and all the other sponsors for putting on such a great show.
Okay, thank you. Brad DeLosa!
So Brad DeLosa owns the hot seat for now with 62 points, just 1 point ahead of Mitch Hewitt. And coming onto the stage shortly will be our next competitor.
Yeah, not quite the cut he was looking for, but we'll see if Czech Republic's Martin Komarek can put together a miracle.
Da gjør vi oss klar for Tsjekkias Martin Komarek. Og Martin har en kjempetid i hotsa. Han har gjort den på under 6 sekunder. Hvis han kan komme ned på sin personlige beste tid, eller gjøre det enda bedre, så kan han nærme seg verdensrekorden. Vi krysser fingrene for deg, Martin Komarek, som har hatt en fantastisk konkurranse så langt.
Now Martin Komarek, a extremely consistent hot sawyer. Many cuts under 6 seconds, and he's looking to top that 5.95 done by Matt Koger of the USA. You see him going through his mental checklist, making sure everything's there, all the switches are on, feet are lined up in the proper position. You'll see them draw their own marks on that log as we get ready for the warm-up.
And he just has to be a little bit faster than Brad DeLosa in order to get the point.
Timer's ready.
Over the hot
Contestant ready. 60 seconds to warm up your saw.
I don't know what's more impressive, how that saw hops or the sparks coming off of it when he gasses that thing.
Yes, such an
30 seconds!
The precision it takes to operate something like this, you know, it's a dirt bike with a chain on it.
Yeah, a sharp chain.
Yeah, of course, these guys wearing all the necessary protection. You'll see them with chaps on their legs to protect their legs, ear and eye protection, all necessary to avoid disqualification as we get ready for Martin's cut.
Chainmail shoe inserts as well.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. What an absolute disaster. The chain came off.
Oh, I love this part. He's going to go back, get another saw. He has 3 minutes in which I don't know what he's got. Are you going to try and take the bar off and put the chain back on? Cheer him on, Norway! Do you think he can do it?
Come on now.
I have never, ever seen this done before. If he manages to get that chain back on and make a cut, this will be the most insane thing I have ever seen on a timber sports stage.
That'll be a heroic move right there.
Keep it going, Norway!
Hjelp Martin Komarek fram nå! Han røyk kjedet, han skal fikse saga si. Kan han klare det innen 3 minutter?
Komarek laying that chain back on board.
You see a slight kink in that chain, but I think he can work it out.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, he can do this. Martin, 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 Martin,
come on.
Martin! Oh.
That is going to be a timeout with a flag on the play. That is really unfortunate. What a disastrous situation for Martin Komarek from the Czech Republic.
Let's put our hands together for Martin Komarek of the Czech Republic, ladies and gentlemen.
Stor applaus til Martin Komarek fra Tsjekkia. For en idrettsmann.
Okay, unfortunately, a disqualification.
Oh, man.
But one of the best disqualifications I've ever seen. One of the best attempts. So we're gonna see what happened here. He came down with a perfect down cut. Now when he came up, it looks like he must have come up on just a little bit of an angle, and when that hit the wood, it just caused that chain to skip a little bit, and that's what bumped it off the rails. But there you see one of the best displays of sportsmanship you'll ever see. A big smile on his face. He knows he did everything that he could possibly do to try and give himself a victory. But now with just one man left, 8-time world champion Jason Wynyard. Brad DeLosa currently sitting in first place with 62 points. Mitch Hewitt sitting with 61 points.
Brad DeLosa, potentially a world champion, sweating bullets up there as he knows a very strong competitor is coming out on stage next.
Yeah, and Mitch Hewitt is guaranteed no worse than a bronze medal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just checking. Which, that actually, I think, is Canada's first medal in the individual competition ever.
We'll have to go back and check the record books on that one.
Well, we didn't get one last year, did we?
I'll defer to your knowledge and expertise on that one.
Don't talk about the war.
What? Huh? I don't know what you mean. All right, the guys have to take a little bit of time now to get some of that oil that's come off the chain when it hit the deck there out of the way. Obviously, that's going to be a slippery issue if it stays on the deck. And even though these guys have spikes, we want to make sure that every opportunity for safety is taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. And every opportunity to keep the playing field level for every athlete that goes up on stage. What do you think? You got predictions?
Well, I was rooting for Mitch Hewitt, quite honestly, but you know, that's the Canadian in me, and because my wife and son told me I had to, it's just so hard to call because we just saw one of the most consistent and best Sawyers going for it there, and his chain came off, so anything can happen.
Well, we're gonna find out as 8-time world champion takes the stage.
Nå skal det hele avgjøres. Han 8 ganger verdensmester. Kan han her og nå ta sin 9. På scenen fra New Zealand. Her Mr. Jason Wynyard!
Now I'm noticing something here as Jason walked out with his saw.
He's really big.
He carries that thing like it's a featherweight. Nay, what I wanted to point out is the blade length on his saw a bit shorter than everybody else's? Am I seeing that right?
It could possibly be. You'll see a lot of guys vary in the length of their bar, possibly to counteract the weight of their saw or the balance of it. When you grab that handle, you want to pick it up and everything be dead level. Sometimes it's not, so possibly that's what happened to our previous competitor, Martin Komarek. He could have picked it up on just an angle, so when he went for his upcut, it hit on the side, and that's what would cause that chain to come off. But it's very rare that you'll see something like that happen to Jason Wynyard, one of the best hot sawyers to ever grace the timber sports stage.
All right, well, Dirk Brown has the world record in hot saw with a 5:20.
Okay, timer's ready, contestant ready. 60 seconds to warm up his saw.
Now the 2 men that remain on stage have been the only 2 men
30 seconds
take home the STIHL Timbersports World Championship in the last
10 years.
In the last 10 years.
Unbelievable.
So we've been in this situation before, and we'll see what the pressure does.
There's a lesson here for you kids out there. Consistency pays dividends.
And pressure builds diamonds.
This is true.
Cuts on the wood. Get set.
Oh my goodness.
That was a thin disc.
798 the time, and they're going to look at that last disc to see if it is in fact complete.
Now, as you saw it break when it hit the stage, that does not mean there's a disqualification. If they have to go back and look at the video, they will. As long as it was a complete disc, when he finished the cut, that's all he needs. But you see a small fragment is broken off there. Oh, there it is.
There it is. These guys are puzzle builders.
Just having one final look.
Okay, nice work. The cut is good.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. With that, Jason Wynyard, 798, grants him 12 points, which means at this point, there is nothing else that can be done. Jason Wynyard has 68 points atop the leaderboard, and that means he has won his ninth World Championship title. That is absolutely amazing. Unprecedented.
Absolutely amazing. Just months ago, after the Champions Trophy, Jason Wynyard was put out on bed rest, burst a disc in his back at the Champions Trophy. Had to take some time off, came back for a 9th world title.
That is unbelievable.
Hats off to you.
And this is fair to say, we have a living legend among us here with Jason Wynyard. And right now, he's just getting those last little fist pumps there. Lars is up there with Jason on the stage. We're just looking at the last bits of our slow-mo here. With that final cut, he took a brief pause, reset the saw while it was in the cut.
Yeah.
No. Oh man, Jason, you made it very, very scary for us, yeah?
Now it's done.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Well, we have to wait. We don't stop. Okay, thank you very much. Jason, that was some scary seconds. Please tell us what happened.
I don't even know what happened. The first cut came off nice, and then I kind of got off balance with the second cut, and I was lucky to fit the third cut in, so it was hard to celebrate when you have a bad cut like that, but thankfully I had a bit of a points lead and some unfortunate cuts for other competitors, so, you know, not the way a guy would like to win, but hey, if you've seen where I had to come back from, I'm pretty happy to be here, so.
Yeah, you saw what happened to Martin just ahead of you, and anything can happen in this event.
Anything can happen, and it happened to me. This hot saw is so unpredictable. You know, you can be touted as the best hot saw operator in the world, and then you go and put a 8-second cut up. You know, it's just a game. And, you know, I felt good. I didn't feel pressurized at all, but, you know, things can happen. Things can happen when you're dealing with split seconds. And just thanks to all the support from back in New Zealand, STIHL New Zealand and the dealer network. Really proud to represent New Zealand, and to the boys in the New Zealand team, really happy to back this one up. It was awesome to win the relay yesterday, and I tell you what, this is awesome to win here today.
You must love Norway now, yeah?
Yeah, it's two for Norway for me, so I'm so happy. I had a lot of injury troubles this year. And thank you, Norway. Thank you.
And this is number 9.
Number 9. Geez, you'd like to win a bit better than that, but
who cares?
You know what? These are great guys. The wood was really tough today, and it had to, you know, you had to dig deep to have a good cut. So, congratulations to the guys that did well in the individual disciplines. It was tough going out there today, and I'm just glad I held it together and was able to get a quick enough cut off with the hot saw.
And in the end, there, you and Brad again.
Yeah, fell for Brad with the cutout, and you know this is a tricky game we play, and you know your whole year's training relies on 3 cuts with a hot saw, and you don't even know if the thing's going to start. So you commiserations to Brad, commiserations to Martin. Martin's a great friend of mine, and he's really helped me over here, and he's helped the New Zealand team. So big thank you to Martin, and I'm so sorry to see his campaign go out like that. He was really strong today, but some great competition. The wood really brought the best out in people, and I was scratching my head a couple of times. It was really tough to get any depth out of the wood. So.
But you know that if this would be easy, we wouldn't bite on nails as we do when you hit that hot saw. That's part of the game.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the draw for me. I know every time we step out on the stage to compete, everything's on the line. And if you make one little mistake or something goes wrong, it's all over for you. So happy to win this. So happy.
We're going to start the ceremony pretty soon, so I'm going to leave it to you now. Jason, thank you very much. And we will prepare ourselves for the medal ceremony.
Well, there you go. That's unprecedented. 9 times the world champion, Jason Wynyard from New Zealand. And this weekend has been a stellar weekend for the team from New Zealand. They won the Team World Championship last night in an absolutely stellar fashion. And then again, Jason Wynyard this evening with a consistent, solid, unbelievably high-end performance right to the very last second to take the individual World Championship title once again for the 9th time. That is fantastic. I'm going to say thank you very much to you guys as we take a quick look at the overall ranking here. Jason Wynyard on top with a solid 68 points. Brad DeLosa will walk home with a satisfying silver, and Mitch Hewitt, as you mentioned earlier, Sterling, the first time for the Canadians on the podium with a bronze here, really close with just 1 point behind Brad DeLosa.
Kjære venner, da er vi klare for premieutdeling her i Håkonshall. Da er altså STIHL Timbersports World Championship 2017 straks klar. Og first of all, we invite the judges on stage. Andy Hall, Great Britain, Rich Hallett from the USA, Jörg Kutzenberger from Germany, Radu Katsaku from Romania, and Mr. Spike Milton from Great Britain. And please welcome on stage as well, Paolo Vincenzi, Vebjørn Sandsteby, Armin Kugler, Elgin Pugh, Robert Ebner, Arkadiusz Drozdik, Pierre Pubaret, Martin Kumarek, Matt Kolger. Og så, på tredjeplass, in third place, Mitch Hewitt from Canada. Get up there, Mitch. There you go. And to present the third place from Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, Mr. Andreas Gottwald. And in second place, representing Australia, Brad DeLosa. And to present the second place, the Lord Mayor of Liverpool, Councillor Malcolm Kennedy. And now, the first place is number 9 from New Zealand, Jason Wynyard, the man, the legend. And to present lett ut, men den tung. Jason Wynyard! Kom igjen nå! Vi har han på norsk jord bare litt til. La han få kjenne varmen. Ta det godt imot. Jason Wynyard, Brad DeLosa, Mitch Hewitt. Og nå reiser vi oss for New Zealands nasjonalsang. Jason Wynyard, Brad DeLosa, Mitch Hewitt. Ja, det på tide med litt glitter og litt champagne. Champagne og gullglitter, det kler deg, Jason. Pass opp! Ok, kjære venner, tusen hjertelig takk for at dere kom hit og tok del i dette STIHL Timbersports.